We are already in the day 9, and today also we have an interesting line of sessions, uh, starting with our first coach for the day, Dr. Soni, who I will briefly introduce before we start her session on coaching for solutions. So, Dr. Soni Keval Ramani has over 16 years of experience working as an academician, trainer, researcher, and a coach. She's passionate about taking psychology outside books and applying them in the real world. She's currently an assistant professor at Amity Institute of Behavioral and Allied Sciences. I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So you can start interacting with the participants. I'll just
Sure.
sharing your presentation. You can.
Thank you so much, Tanvina. Hi, Dennis. Hi, Kadra. Hope you had a nice session.
Morning.
Last
Yes,
8 days.
Yes.
So I hope to take that motivation ahead and ensure that we enjoy today's session a lot. And together, let us move towards this journey of starting our journey of becoming a coach. While waiting for all our other participants to join, let us introduce each other. Janice, you are from which place?
Well, morning. I'm from the Seychelles. And,
okay.
Yes, I am currently working with the Ministry of Local Government, and
Okay.
I'm the Director General for Community Affairs.
I think I'm honored to be in your company, ma'am. Thank you so much for being a part of our coaching. Definitely, we are honored to have people like you. And I'm sure more than teaching you, today I'm going to learn a lot from you all. So you all please be my coaches for the day. Hello, Cecilia, ma'am. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Nice to meet you.
You're from which place?
I am from Guatemala.
Okay, ma'am. And a bit more about you?
Okay.
Professionally?
What? I'm sorry?
Professionally, I said professionally.
Okay. I am a psychologist, and I am a business consultant and trainer too.
Wow. So you are my guru. That's what we call in India. The teacher, the guru. You are my guru now because we are from the same field, ma'am, psychology. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of points on which we'll be connecting a lot.
Dr.
And I'll be needing your guidance. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to give a small note to the participants. Sure. I know I had given a note yesterday that we'll be having a group photograph, but right now all the participants haven't joined. So we'll be waiting for a few more people, and then I'll just, request Dr. Soni somewhere in between, and we'll quickly click a picture.
Sure, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Definitely will do that.
You can continue. Sorry, I just
remembered. No, ma'am. Yeah. That was really important. We all are taking lots of good memories from this place. And now a virtual photograph is all we can have. But yes, even I'll be looking forward to that photograph. I hope I can switch on my video also, ma'am, where we are taking that photograph.
Ah, yes, please.
Thank you.
Welcome to join. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Babita, ma'am. Can I call you Babita?
Let me just put it. Hi, Babita.
Still connecting to her audio, I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Babita, ma'am. Can I call you Babita?
Of course.
Thank you. Ma'am, you're from which place? This is my first day here. So I'm the new entry.
I'm from Mauritius.
Okay,
you've ever been here? I'm sure you've ever been here.
No, ma'am, not yet.
So
not
you have
Mauritius
to go. Your next trip should be to Mauritius.
Sure, ma'am.
Cecilia also is going to come. All of you should come.
We'll be together at your place.
Sure. No worry.
The technology has made the world so small that we are connecting from people all over the world, and we are making friends all over the world. So now I have a home in Mauritius also.
Yeah, sure. Ma'am, I'll be having a meeting as from 10 Mauritius, like in 30 minutes. So I'll just
stop, follow the meeting, then join in again. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you
Definitely,
very much.
definitely. Tanvi ma'am, can I start with the session, or are we waiting for the participants to join?
No, Dr. Soni, we can start. We can start.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. Thank you so much for including me in this wonderful group that has been created here. Thanks to MIT Institute of Training and Development. And today on the 9th day, we'll be discussing on coaching for solutions, as we have been doing it for a while now. So let us take it ahead from here. Ma'am, next screen. Thank you. So for the next 90 minutes or so, the journey that we'll be taking is going to be some of our discussions and deliberations on who is a coach. We'll try and understand coaching and mentoring. We'll also try and understand coaching and leadership. And once we know where we are as far as our mentoring, coaching, and leadership skills are concerned, we'll be moving ahead with trying to increase the coaching quotient in us through coaching for solutions, where we'll be understanding about how to clarify the problems, how to develop partnerships, how to co-develop, how to collaborate and celebrate the success that we can have as a coach. And definitely your actions that you will be taking in order to continue with your journey. Next screen.
Erla, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
No, Erla, the meeting is on Zoom.
Yes, we are meeting on Zoom. Am I audible, Yash? Yes, am I audible to you?
Dr. Soni, you are audible to us. I think.
Okay,
you
okay.
Please continue.
Okay, thank you. I thought Yash was having some problems. Okay, so this is going to be our context for the day for these next 2 hours, where we'll be discussing various aspects of coaching. Next slide, ma'am. Okay, now, this is the first question that we have for our discussion today, and that is, what comes to your mind when you hear the word coach? Can we share some answers? We can share our answers here, or you can share your answers in the chat box, whatever suits you.
Someone who
What
can
comes to your mind?
guide you achieve your objective.
Achieving objective. Okay, ma'am. Guide you to achieve your objectives. Thank you so much, Babita ma'am. Can we have more? Okay, Audrey ma'am said guide. Kakunda ma'am is also saying guide. So we have 3 people who agree on the word guide. Can we have more answers, ma'am? Some more answers. Guide and companion to objective. Cecilia ma'am, thank you so much for that response, where we have added the word companion. Guidance, Erla ma'am, thank you so much.
Help them to reach their full potential.
Help them to reach their full potential. Wonderful, ma'am. Janice ma'am says that we have to be the person who is helping others, the participant or the coachee, to reach their full potential. Okay. Most of us agree on this one word, that is guide. Zella ma'am and Erla ma'am also says that it is guidance that we are seeking and we are giving as coach and coachee. Any other response that comes to your mind? Just the word coach, a blank mind, and whatever comes to you. Something more.
I can also say coaching is imparting new skills.
Okay, imparting new skills. That is wonderful, Audrey ma'am. Kakunda ma'am adds one more point when she says that it is about giving directions. Ensure development. Yes, ma'am. Lisa ma'am says it's about ensuring development. Can we have any other point or any other thought that comes to you?
The coaches teach.
Coaches?
Teach. They give guidance and they teach.
Okay,
at the top of my mind, When you say coach,
Okay.
I initially associated with sports. So the coach,
It's
the
sports.
with sports, yeah, you that's what initially comes into my mind. So if there's a coach, the
Huh.
coach usually gives the play or the master plan, the grand plan. So that's the direction that probably we are agreeing that the coach provide direction and guidance. And
Okay.
in sports, they usually teach and train the members. Aside from that, they make decisions. They provide decisions on how or what are we going to do. So probably
Okay,
it can
ma'am.
be related to other aspects.
That's a wonderful thought, darling ma'am, when you said and when you related it with coach, because very true. This is what actually comes to your mind when we hear the word coach, that is sports. And then we relate to everything that a sports coach does. So we still need to see whether the coaching we are talking about is going on the lines of the sports coach, or do we have something else in store? Let's just see in a while. We have also received some answers from Ilham, and the response says developing a partnership between managers and staff. So the one more keyword that has come up is partnership. And Yash says someone who enables you to unfurl your full potential. Babita ma'am says someone who helps you to move from good to great. Thank you so much, ma'am. We have the title of our whole workshop here, from good to great. And that actually is the key here, moving from good to great. Thank you so much for that. So in a nutshell, we have some keywords here that we, as of now, agree upon. We started with guidance. We all think that coach is someone who guides. Then he or she also helps you to achieve objectives. He is a kind of a companion. He is one who is helping you to reach your full potential. This was another theme that was being repeated. Then imparting new skills, giving directions, ensuring success. Then we had the sports idea, which says it is also about teaching, it is also about directing, it is about providing the master plan, training, providing decisions, and finally, partnership. Dennis also asks that it is a one-to-one conversation to enhance individual skills. Dennis ma'am, thank you so much for that thought, because I'll be using this thought in a while from now. One-to-one conversation to enhance individual skills. Ilham has one more point, and it says achieving a specific personal or professional or organizational goal by providing training and guidance. So now we have 3 areas here: personal, professional, and even organizational. And we are providing training and guidance as a coach. Wonderful. So I hope as of now, we all agree to these points that we have come up with. Let's see. Can I have the next slide, ma'am? Let's see who a coach is. Yes, a person who is cultivating learning and growth. We all agreed to this when we were talking about guidance. A coach is one who is evoking awareness. To this also we all agreed, and this is what we thought as well. Cultivate trust and psychological safety. Now this is one point which we had not taken as of now, but I think it was meant when we said that we are guiding, we are providing information, we are inculcating strengths. We all meant to some extent that this is what that trust is. Active listening, being focused, being observant, being empathetic and responsive. I'm calling out to all the psychologists here. We all connect to these very well here. Then maintaining a mindset that is open, curious, flexible, and coaching-centered. This is one point that we'll be discussing more in detail once we have talked about leader and mentorship as well. And can I have the next slide? Okay, moving ahead, I have another question for all of us. Coaching, this is what we understood from the word coaching. Can we now try and differentiate between coaching and mentoring? I'm sure we all have been mentees, we all have been mentors, we have been coaching people, we have been coaching to many people, we have our own coaches. How are the two thoughts different? Coaching and mentoring.
For example, for mentoring, the mentor used to say the mentee how to do so. Okay.
Yes.
He guides directly. You have to do by this way, you have to do this and correct and everything. But the coaching, the difference is that the coach guides to the other person to find his or her own resources in order to get the objective. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cecilia ma'am. Thank you so much for that wonderful answer. Can we add something to what Cecilia ma'am has said? Definitely.
Mentorship. Yeah.
Mentorship? Dennis ma'am?
Yeah. Okay. Mentorship is a way to where you share your knowledge, skills, and experience to help others to develop and grow. Whereas coach, just like Cecilia is saying, you provide guidance to help that individual to reach their full potential.
Wonderful. So we have one more word here, which says that mentoring is you show your own skills. And when we talk about coaching, it's providing guidance so that the person is able to reach their own full potential. We have some responses in the chat also. Coaching is more authority and mentoring is more equal relationship. Okay. Ilham is of the view that it is more about coaching being in a more authority position and mentoring being more in an equal position. Okay. And Babita ma'am also agrees with you, Dennis ma'am, what you said. Can we have a bit more of a discussion on the point that Ilham has raised when it is said that coaching has more authority and mentoring is more equal? Can that be the case? Coaching being more authoritative and mentoring be more of an equal relationship?
I think it can be, because when you mentor, it's like, how do I say that? There's an advisor, or it's a friend. You teach your peers, so you don't necessarily or directly say that. I mean, you don't impose. So you provide information, knowledge, but you don't impose on them. So I think that's who said that? Ilya Mohammed.
Ilham said that.
So
Ilham said that.
Well, the coach, you put more guidance, you put more emphasis on the things that they should learn or that they should do. So it's more direct. So you provide more authority for that matter.
Okay, ma'am. Darlene ma'am, thank you so much for that response. Yash has also raised his hand. Can I have your inputs, Yash? You wanted to say something?
Yes, yes, ma'am. I just wanted to say that yes, coaching can be more authoritative, because mentoring is more than sharing the experience and accompanying the person throughout the job. Whereas a coaching is, as the example that is there on the screen, that is, we empower someone to do the job. We are not there to accompany the person itself.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Yash, for that wonderful response and for clarifying it even further. Any other response? Any other person who would like to add something to the discussion? Because we have a few more responses here. Okay. So in a while from now, we'll actually be watching the difference between the two, and then we'll come back to this discussion just in 2 minutes. Till then, a few more answers. Babita ma'am says coaching is helping the other person develop his own competency. Wonderful. And mentoring is a program that takes longer period of time, example 6 months, while coaching takes shorter time. That was another difference that has been pointed out by Andre. Then Zella says a mentor shares knowledge, but a coach provides guidance. Okay. Again, when we are talking about leadership and coaching, we'll be coming a bit more in detail, Zella, to the point that you have raised here. Mentoring is individual development and coaching is performance improvement. Yes, Kakunda. When we talk about in terms of organizational coaching, yes, definitely. A point well raised. Then Visam says mentoring is hand holding along with the growth path. Actually, okay. And while a mentor shares his own experience and skill for others to see a bigger picture. Babita, thank you for that answer. Then Jester says coaching is you are helping the coachee to realize and explore possible solutions to a problem, while mentoring is more on the mentor providing advice and initiating the session. Jester, I must really congratulate you on this answer. Thank you so much for this response. Erla says mentoring is transferring gained knowledge, skills to help another to develop and grow, while coach providing guidance to help them towards achieve their own goals and objectives. Cecilia, towards the end of this discussion, I have a point that I would like you to clarify for all of us here as a co-psychologist. When we are talking about coaching, do we agree that it is coming closer to facilitation that we do in counseling as compared to mentoring, which is more towards the guidance side? Can we have a bit of your views on this, ma'am?
Between mentoring and coaching, is that the question?
Facilitation is more towards is more found in coaching as compared to mentoring, or is it the other way around?
Facilitation. It depends, okay? Because if you have something written, for example, you are facilitating the person in order to do the mentoring. But if, for example, you are doing powerful questions to the person, you are facilitating too, in order to do the coaching. It's different. That is why I'm telling you it depends. But the thing is that the mentoring is just to do some clarify some something that is already done or written, but the coaching is to explore the other people, that the other people can explore her or himself in order to find new adjectives, new dreams, new tasks that he maybe he couldn't see before. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for that wonderful response. And now, since we have these answers, and Cecilia ma'am has summed up so beautifully, in a way, all the discussions that have taken place. Now, ma'am, Tanvi ma'am, can you move on to the next slide? Yes. Now coming to what is, ma'am, yes, ma'am, thank you. Now coming to, Ilham sir says coaching is a more task-oriented and mentoring may focus on progress. Okay, thank you so much, sir, for this response. Now let us understand what coaching and mentoring is. When we talk about coaching, rightfully put up by all of us here, it is a means for learning, it is a means for development, and it is guiding someone, a word that has been repeatedly coming up. Mutual learning of experiences and opinions to create agreed upon outcomes. And when we talk in terms of mentoring, as a mentor, it is also an opportunity to correct someone's behavior and actions. It is also about directing someone to take action towards their own goals. Also, being the expert or supervisor in the field and imparting specific knowledge. This is one point that we got confused with when we were having our discussion. The knowledge aspect, the being the expert aspect, is more of a mentor, because generally mentoring is done by a person who is who may or may not be exactly in your organization. It could be someone outside that organization as well, outside that place, but the person is an expert in that area. So in some way or the other, though there is an overlap, I won't say it's a very clear-cut distinction. There's a very thin line between coaching, mentoring, and leadership, but still, this expert, being that expert in that field, is more of a mentoring behavior as compared to a coaching behavior. Can we have any answers or any discussions till this point that you would like to share? Or can we move ahead? Because it's a very interesting discussion that was going on. So any insights, any sharing, any deliberations that are required here, we can definitely talk. Or do we all agree to this? Okay, Cecilia ma'am says we agree to this. So can we move ahead? Can we have the next page, please? Okay, now we have the best way, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have my own way of understanding things in life, and I have developed this 3-step formula for me. And it is something like, first of all, I need to be aware about certain things. Then I have to accept where I am, and only then a change can occur. So that's a 3-step model that I have developed for myself. And following that model, let us become aware where we are as far as the coaching behavior is concerned. So we have this scale for all of us to try. And we have to use this scale to indicate how each statement applies to you. A request here, like in all other psychological tools that you have been using since the last 9 days, please don't overthink on your answers. Whatever comes to your mind, as soon as you read a statement, wherever you find yourself, usually, sometime, rarely, just give yourself those marks. This tool is also available in your handbook in case you would like to see it from there. But if you have a rough page with you, we can very quickly do the scale here. So I'll be reading out the statements. Quickly give yourself 3, 2, 1 based on whether this kind of a behavior is usual for you, you indulge in it sometimes, or you rarely do it. So the first statement goes like this. Do you show interest in career development and not just short-term performance of the one you are coaching? 3, 2, 1. Give yourself marks. The second statement says, do you provide both support and freedom to self-growth? Third statement, do you set high yet attainable goals? Fourth statement, do you serve as a role model? Fifth, do you communicate your strategies and expected behaviors as a basis of establishing the objectives? Sixth, do you work with an individual to generate alternative approaches or solutions that you can consider together? And seventh, before giving feedback, do you observe carefully and without bias the individual you are coaching? Those were the first 7 statements. Tanvi ma'am, can we have the next screen, please?
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the.
Okay. We'll hold
What
you.
page? What page is this in the
handbook?
I'm
Just
trying
give
to
me
look
one
at the page, but I'm not seeing it. This is why I'm following
Okay.
on the PC.
Yeah, me too.
No.
Me too.
There can be,
Yes.
there's a possibility it is not there in the handbook, so we'll stop here.
Yes.
We'll wait with this page.
Okay.
Yes.
Only.
So
Okay,
we'll follow together. Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Should I read them again? Should I read
Number
the
7, we
statements?
are okay.
Okay, now I am doing it. Thank you.
Okay. So let's wait for 2 minutes and then we'll have the next one.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ilham. It's done for you. We'll be moving ahead in a while. Yes, so please don't score. We still have a few more questions here. Your total will come up after the next set of questions. Babita ma'am, few more statements. So we'll be calculating after we have rated ourselves on those statements also. Audrey, same request to you. A few more statements are there, 15 to be precise. We'll be moving on to the next one. It's a total score, Cecilia. So let's wait for the next set of questions also. Can we move ahead to the next slide? Okay, thank you, Dennis. Tanvi ma'am, can we have the next slide? Thank you. So these are the next set of statements. The total has to be given together. I'll be reading them one by one for the convenience of all of us. Statement number 8. Do you separate observations from judgments and assumptions? Rate yourselves. Do you test your theories about a person's behavior before acting on them? Next, 10th one. Are you careful to avoid using your own performance as a yardstick to measure others? 11th. Do you focus your attention and avoid distractions when someone else is talking to you? 12th. Do you give specific feedback? 13th. Do you give timely feedback? 14. Do you reach agreement on desired goals and outcomes rather than simply dictating them? And 15th, do you always follow up on a coaching discussion to make sure progress is proceeding as planned? So those were the 15 questions. Requesting all the participants to please total up their responses. And then we can have a sharing.
This is only 15 questions?
15 questions.
Okay.
Janice ma'am has completed. Thank you, ma'am. Cecilia ma'am has also completed. Darlene ma'am has completed. Yesh has also completed the task. Ayla has also completed. Zella, done. Bhisam also done. Okay, so I presume that most of us are through with the scoring part as well. Tanvi ma'am, can we move on to the next slide, please? So this is the scoring that you all must have completed by now. Usually 3, sometimes 2, rarely 1. And most of you have also given a total to your score. Now let us understand what these scores mean. The next slide, please. Okay. So a quick sharing, if you would like to share your answers. 42 is the midpoint. If you have scored less than 42, like 20, 30, you are on the lower edge of coaching behavior. If you have scored more than 42 towards the higher side, I mean 65 or maybe 50 or 54 or 60, you are towards the higher side of coaching behavior. So we all have an idea. Can I have some sharing? If you are comfortable, that's not a compulsion, but in case you would like to share, okay, so we have 42, 44. Wonderful. Raleen got 42. So these are the scores that we generally have. Any other interesting score? Okay, Yesh says it's 45. Audrey says it's 42. Yes, Yesh, please.
No, on the scales that we are using, okay, the total number of questions is 15. That makes it a 45. So the scoring, is it the same depending upon the number of questions? Because here you will put 65.
Actually, yes, you have raised a very important question here that just got my attention as well. Yes, very true. So you all are actually on high coaching behavior. Sorry, our mistake. We'll make this rectification. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
Okay,
There was a problem
okay,
here. It was 45, 44, 42. That was not the midpoint. So now the midpoint is somewhere around 20. So if it is 20, then it is towards the middle part. Less than it's a low coaching behavior, and more than 20, it's towards the high coaching behavior. So I think I should really congratulate most of you. We all are on high coaching behavior. Ilham, you are also on a very high coaching behavior. Arla is 38. That's also high. So in a way, whatever we have been doing is working, because our behavior is showing more of coaching than mentoring. Once again, Yash, thank you so much for bringing this to our awareness. This was a flaw at our end. Thank you so much for that. So a big round of applause for all the great coaches here with all the high scores on their coaching behavior. And now let us move ahead with leadership and coaching. Tanvi ma'am, can we have the next slide? Okay. Now let us take up one more issue, which is, how is a coach different from a leader? We have already talked about mentoring. Can we understand the difference between a coach and a leader? Can we have some quick answers? How is the coach different from a leader? Yes, Yash.
Yeah, for a leader, normally we have followers. It is the staff, the subordinate will willingly, at their ease, they will follow the leader. Whereas a coach, it is someone who maybe impose upon the team to work together. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a very yes, that's a very important point that you have raised. There's a possibility that a coach is imposed upon the team, and a leader is one with whom we are associating as of now the concept of willingness. Very well taken. A point which requires a lot of discussion and deliberations in a while. Yes, we'll be coming back to you for sure. Yes, Dennis ma'am.
Yes, for me, when I look at it, the difference between coach and a leader, well, as a leader, you look at the big picture. The big picture when you bring together your strategy, your goals, mission, and vision for the future. But as a coach, you are handling day-to-day interactions with your people, motivating and supporting.
A wonderful word that we got. With leader, for obvious reasons, we have a bigger picture. The big picture is in view as far as the leader is concerned, and the coach is more towards the motivating day-to-day activity part.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful, Dennis ma'am. Thank you so much. That's a very different view of looking at leadership and coaching behavior. Thank you, ma'am. Can we have more answers here? Very interesting conversation for sure. I think I'm missing on to the chats. No. Yes. Abdul Rahman says, to be a coach, you have to handle the day-to-day interactions, motivating and supporting people. Dennis, I think Abdul Rahman is in agreement with you, what you just said, when we talk about day-to-day interactions and coaching. And for leader, Abdul Rahman sir, can we have your inputs for leader? I think he's typing. We'll get back to you, sir, waiting for your response. More answers can we have? We have got two very interesting inputs as of now. Both worth a lot of deliberations. A very new way to look at coaching and leadership. Can we have some more answers? How is a coach different from a leader? We all are coaches in different capacities. We all are leaders in different capacities. How are the two different? Abdul Rahman sir, I'm waiting for that response from you, for the leader. If you can please share your views, that would complete your response here. Any other inputs? Zella says, a leader mainly directs and tells an employee what to do, whereas a coach inspires and leads. He also has the ability to motivate his employees. Wonderful. So basically, when we are talking in terms of leader, it's about direction. And when we are talking in terms of coach, it's inspiration, motivation, and ability to motivate the employees. Thank you so much, Zara. Thank you so much. That was another addition. Ilham says, leaders driven vision of the organization and coaching help to identify where to go ahead. Okay, so here we are associating leadership with the vision of the organization and coaching behavior to identify where to go ahead. Ilham, can we say how to go ahead also here? Or did you mean where to go ahead? Because you already wrote vision for leaders. So that's why this question came to my mind. Where to go ahead? Okay. So what he means is where to go ahead is the coach task, and vision driven by the vision of the organization is the leader. Thank you so much for that answer. Any other inputs that we can have? Or can we move on to the established answers or differences between the two? Okay. Leading is setting targets while coaching is showing way to do. Audrey, thank you so much for that response. Coaching is showing the way to do. Leadership is long term, coaching is short term. Thank you so much, Kakunda, for that. Yes, coaching can be long term also, coaching can be short term also, but leadership generally is taken as a long term association. Thank you so much for that response. Yes, Dennis, you agree to that, I presume?
Yes, of early on, yeah. So it's okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for those inputs. Yes, Tanvi, thank you so much. I was about to ask you for that. Now, coach is someone who has to be excellent role model for leaders, co-create a personal vision with the leader. This is, I think, what we were coming on to when Ilham said that the leader has the vision and a coach is someone who is telling us where to go. So the two merge here. Thank you, Ilham, for bringing up that point for us. Then coach is a person who must challenge a leader to try new behaviors and to hold the leader accountable to achieve results. A coach is someone who is enabling the leader, because after all, the leader can also have a coach. Enables the leader at times, confronting a lack of progress, if any. Then a coach expresses confidence in a leader's ability and celebrates successful milestones. On the other hand, leader is exactly what you all have been talking about. Model the way, inspire a shared vision, challenge a process, must enable others to act, must encourage the heart. So exactly that willingness that we were talking about in terms of leadership. Yes, sir, you had raised that point, that a leader is a person who is willingly followed, and coach can be someone who can be imposed upon. The two can merge also. So these are the points which actually come up when we are talking about a coaching and a leader. Any more deliberation or discussions that we would like to carry on here? Can we move ahead? Can we move ahead? Tanvi ma'am, the next page. In a way, if you ask me to sum up, leader is someone who provides answer. Coach is someone who asks the right kind of questions. Coaching is actually collaborative. Coaching is working together. Coaching is like achieving a balance. And hence, when we have these two people in front of us, a coach and a leader, and when these two merge in one person, then we have a leader who is a coach and we have a coach who is a leader. If you are in the capacity of a coach and there are qualities of a leadership which are there in you, then you become a coach who is a leader. If you are a leader who is using the coaching behavior and coaching ability in order to lead the team, you become a leader who is a coach. Exactly, Ilham sir. Coach and leader can be one person, or they may not be. There can be a coach to a leader, or there can be a leader who is also a coach. Like Ilham sir said, they can be one person. So this concept, because we are also leaders in our capacity, but are we utilizing the coaching behavior in order to do what we are wanting to do? This reminds me of Carol Dweck. He said he has talked about a fixed mindset. This fixed mindset is actually a hurdle to your coaching behavior. Why? Because, you know, as a leader, now since we are merging the two, people not performing, cannot perform is not the real problem in an organization. The problem is the belief that the person cannot progress. If there's an employee, you're in the capacity of a leader or a coach or both, and if you feel that the person is not performing, the person is not cannot develop, the person not being able to develop is taken as a problem in general. But Carol Dweck says this is a fixed mindset. The real problem is that you believe that he cannot progress. You as a coach, or you as a leader, or you as that one person who is coaching and leading. If we believe that the person cannot progress, that is the barrier. Because anyone can progress. After all, there's a participant or the employee about whom we are talking about. It is up to him whether he wants that change to occur or not. But if you are not allowing that to occur, that is where barrier as a coach and a leader lies. Any other deliberation that you would like to have here? Or can we move ahead? Because, you know, most of us are familiar with this name, Peter Drucker. In 1950s, he had coined this term which was known as knowledge worker. Knowledge worker is a person who requires no direct supervision. Maybe the person knows even more than the leader or the supervisor. This knowledge person requires a coach. This is where coaching behavior enters the picture. Are we together? Or are there any inputs that you would like to share at this point? Can we move ahead? Tanvi ma'am, can we have the next slide? Okay. Now we move on to what is known as solution mindset. Next slide, ma'am. Again, like I said, awareness, acceptance, and change. And this time, I'm sure that I have the page number in your handbook also. It's page number 57. If you can open the page number 57 in your handbooks. You have a mindset quiz.
Got it this time, yes.
Thank you, ma'am. I said you'll get it this time. I was sure. Okay. For those of you who may not have the handbook ready, I'll read out the answers, the questions also. What we need to do is, you have to, there are 4 parameters: strongly disagree, disagree, agree, strongly agree. So for you all, for your whole convenience, I'll be reading out these questions, these statements, in case you don't have the handbook ready with you. And you just give yourself whether you strongly agree with that particular statement, agree, disagree, or strongly disagree. Please don't pay attention to the points as of now, because we'll be coming to this later. Tanvi ma'am, can I have the slide, previous slide? Thank you. Once again, it's page 57. You only need to respond in terms of strongly disagree, disagree, agree, strongly agree. The first statement is, intelligence is something people are born with that can't be changed. No matter how intelligent you are, you can always be more intelligent. That was statement number 2. 3, you can always substantially change how intelligent you are. 4, You are a certain kind of person and there's not much that can be done to really change that.
Could you please repeat the rate?
Sure. Should I start with the statement number 1, ma'am?
Strongly agree, how many points?
Yes, it was strongly disagree,
Yes.
agree, strongly agree.
Yeah, but how much is each one of them? 1, 0?
In terms of marks, we'll get to that later because there's a reverse scoring also. Since you already know about it, I'm sharing it with you. Okay, so the scoring will come to that later. Just keep on rating yourself as per the statement and we'll get to the scores in a while from now. Should I read the statements again? And I'll go a bit slow this time. I'll start with statement number 1 again. Intelligence is something people are born with that can't be changed. Second, no matter how intelligent you are, you can always be more intelligent. Third, you can always substantially change how intelligent you are. Fourth, you are a certain kind of person and there is not much that can be done to really challenge that. Fifth, you can always change basic things about the kind of person you are. Sixth, musical talent can be learned by anyone. Seventh, only a few people will be truly good at sports. You have to be born with it. Eighth, math is much easier to learn if you are male or maybe come from a culture who values maths. Ninth, the harder you work at something, the better you will be at it.
I'm saying 9 and 10 being the same statement.
The harder you work at something, the better you will be at it. Oh yeah, sure, ma'am. We can avoid 1.
Okay.
11. Try new things is stressful for me and I avoid it. Dennis, ma'am, please give yourself scores for both the statements.
Okay, no problem.
Otherwise, it is going to be a
Distort the
problem
result.
when you are scoring yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
No
As of
problem,
now,
no
give your, because I have already checked, the scoring is the same for both. Otherwise, it would have been a problem.
Yes, okay.
Okay. So 10th, 9th, 10th are the same. Then 11th, trying new things is stressful for me and I avoid it. 12th, some people are good and kind and some are not. It's not often that people change. 13, I appreciate when people give me feedback about my performance. 14, I often get angry when I get negative feedback about my performance. 15, all human beings are capable of learning. 16, you can learn new things, but you can't really change how intelligent you are. 17, you can do things differently, but the important part of who you are can't really be changed. 18, human beings are basically good, but sometimes make terrible decisions. 19, an important reason why I do my work is that I like to learn new things. And the last one is, truly smart people do not need to try hard. So those were the 20 statements on which we had to rate ourselves on that 4-point scale. Tanvi ma'am, can we have the scoring now? Thank you so much. Okay. So now we have the question numbers mentioned here. We have to see the question number and we have to give the points accordingly. For example, in question number 1, if you have rated yourself as strongly agree, give yourself 0. Agree, give yourself 1. Disagree, give yourself 2. Strongly disagree, give yourself 3. So for these 10 questions, please give yourself your scores, your points, and then your total points. Can we move on to the next scoring now? Tanvi ma'am, can we have the next 3? Thank you so much. Again, for the next set of questions, we have to score ourselves. And finally, total points for this section and the total score. Total score would be when you are adding the scores from both the sections. Okay, so we have the answers already in the chat box. Yash had shared his score. Yash, I hope you have added the answers for both the sections together.
You know, it takes a long time in order to the instructions that we have to change the scale, I think.
We can use a shorter scale also, ma'am, because it's a long scale with 20 statements and reverse scoring. So it becomes a bit of a long task to complete, but the answers are really interesting. It gives a true response. So that is the reason we had selected this.
Yeah, but we need more time in order to do so.
Actually, maybe we could have asked you all to complete it at your own leisure and then share your answers here. We'll do it next time, ma'am. Yes, yes, that's what I thought. You had not reversed the total. Reverse the scores for the next set. So next time, maybe we can be the teachers and we can give the homework to the students to fill up this questionnaire, Cecilia ma'am. Audrey, you said 2. I hope that you are giving yourself scoring as per the scoring given on your screens. And that is also possible, by the way. The score of 2 is definitely possible. Just clarifying, because Yash made a mistake here. That is the reason. Okay, Kakunda says 4. Can you show me the questions again? Ilham, I don't have the questions with me here, but the questions are available with you in your handbook. Week 2, page 57. The questionnaire is there. On the next page, even the scoring and the interpretation is given. For those of you who have completed, you can check the meaning of your scores as well, which we'll definitely discuss. Okay, so Yash has a new total now, which is 42. I thought so. Okay, so we are now getting the answers, and Audrey also gives his score, which is 41. I presume most of you have your total scores by now. Can we move on to the interpretation? Tanvi ma'am, can we have the next screen? Okay. If you have managed to score 60 to 45 points, you have a very strong solution mindset. 44 to 34, I have received some responses in this range. Yes, there's a solution mindset, but there are some fixed ideas also, which by the way is very natural. It happens with all of us. 33 to 21 points, problem mindset with some solution ideas. It's reversed now. And 2 to 20 points, there's a strong problem mindset. When I use the word solution mindset and problem mindset, it does not mean there's a problem with your mindset. What it means is that as a person, you tend to spend more time on the problem rather than the solution. It's like getting caught up in the problem mode. There's nothing wrong with being anything. Everyone is unique and everything is totally acceptable. And this is who we are as a person. It just says that whenever, and this you can take examples from your life also, you can even try and think of a situation in your work life, time for some reflection here. If this fixed mindset or solution mindset has been witnessed by you in your work and personal lives, whenever you face a problem, and in case you've scored low on this test, do you always tend to spend more time on the problem aspect? More worried because of the problem, thinking more about the problem, getting anxious because of the problem. If you have scored more towards the solution mindset, are you more a type of a person who looks at a problem, takes what is important, and then tries to move ahead with what needs to be done now in this case? So that is more of a strong solution mindset. So that is the only difference, where we are stuck, whether we remain with the problem or whether we are trying to go with the solution. So that is what this scale was trying to tell us. Tanvi, can we have the next slide? Coaching for solutions. Now, we have reached that point where we know where we are. The awareness is there. And to a certain extent, I presume acceptance is also there, that this is where we stand and we accept this is where we are. Now let us try and understand where will the change happen. And that brings us to coaching for solutions. Before we go ahead, just a bit about the history of this solution-focused coaching. I'm sure many of us, or many of you might have heard about the origin of solution-focused coaching, which comes from strategic brief therapy. And this has been given by Steve DeShazer. All the psychologists among us, we know. And the most important part about strategic brief therapy is that they discovered that language has crucial importance in the process of change. The kind of language that we use while we are talking to others and when we are talking to ourselves. So this is the base of coaching for solutions, and there are many principles here also based on which this particular therapy was developed, and we'll be picking up one by one as and when they fit the coaching for solutions. One thing I would like to discuss right away is thinking about solutions lead to change. Understanding the cause of the problem is not enough. When we start thinking what needs to be done, when we must think about solutions, that is where coaching for solution enters. Can we have the next slide? With reference to coaching for solutions, we have these 6 ways in which it can be done. Help clarify the problem, create partnership, seeking contrary data, co-construct a development plan, collaborate and challenge, celebrate and reflect. And now we'll be taking each of these one by one. And can you see that the green is lighter for help and darkest in celebrate and reflect? There's a message to that also. And the message is they all build up on each other. And that is the point where you celebrate and reflect your true coaching behavior. So we keep on adding what we have learned in the past and we keep on moving ahead. Can we have the next slide, Tanvi ma'am? Let's start with clarify the problem. Next slide, ma'am. Whenever you are trying to deal with any problem your coachee brings up, where is your focus? What do you want to achieve? Or what do you want them to achieve? If I label what do you want to achieve as 1 and what do you want them to achieve as 2, can I have some quick answers, 1 or 2? Whenever you are there with a coachee as a coach, where is your focus? What do you want to achieve? Or what do you want the other person to achieve? Can I have some quick answers? Green one is 1, yellow one is, mustard one is 2. So we understand where we are. 1. Ilham sir says 1. What do you want to achieve? Okay. Then next. 1 or 2? 2. Audrey says 2. Farsad says 2. Dennis 2. Yash 2. Darling 2. Cecilia 2. Any more answers? Most of us are here with 2. Erla 2. Okay, Abdul Rahman 2. Ilham says it's 1. In the rest answers that we have received so far says 2. So most of us would say that our focus is on what we want the coachee or the person who is there with us to achieve. Okay. Can we move on to the next slide, ma'am? Okay. Help clarify problem. Since we are trying to understand how to clarify the problem, there is a hypothetical situation that we have been given. And Rajesh, he is your coachee, comes to you with a problem that he wants help with. He starts the conversation with, I'm struggling with this. What do you think I should do? Ilham, I'll just get back to you with your question. Without my focus, how can I get others to achieve? Totally agree with you. After we are through with this particular hypothetical situation, we'll come back to your question. Again, Rajesh comes to you with a problem that he wants help with. He starts the conversation with, I'm struggling with this. And let me fill in the blank for you. This here means Rajesh wants to make a career transition. And you are the coach. What do you think I should do? Rajesh asks you this. Now, what do you want to achieve from this conversation? What are the kind of questions that you would be asking? Rajesh is struggling with career transition. He wants to make a career transition. And he is asking you what needs to be done. What do you want to achieve? Where will you go? What are the kind of questions that you would be asking? How will you clarify the problem?
Well, I try. For me, I'll be thinking like, what are you currently struggling with? Because for career transition, he might be facing something, or he thinks he's facing something. So I'll have to establish what is he really struggling with at the moment. Because what I want to achieve, what I will want to achieve at the end of this conversation is that whatever decision that he's making will be something of a very positive one, in the sense of, is he really struggling, or are there issues that can be solved before just stating that he's struggling and he is in need of a career transition.
Wonderful, Dennis ma'am. Thank you so much. And if I'm not mistaken, this also answers, Ilham sir, your question. Because what Dennis ma'am said was, she wants to achieve what Rajesh is struggling with and why career transition. So that is what she wants to achieve from this conversation. The clarify. So that was an excellent response, which would help us to clarify exactly why Rajesh wants to go for this career transition. Yes, Yash.
I'm sorry. I think we need to have a holistic approach towards why the person, why the person wants to move forward in another career or something else. Whether it is legitimate for him to get the other opportunity or not. And also, what are the blockers? What are hampering the person, Rajesh, to move forward? Okay. And perhaps in our conversation, we need to know a bit of whether the person is not satisfied with his current job also, and why. Okay. So
yes, sir.
As it is a statement right now, it's a bit difficult for me as a case study to just come to a conclusion to advise someone.
Yes, sir, I totally agree, because the beauty of this hypothetical situation is that it is vague. It is open to interpretations, and that is the reason we are coming up with so many different responses. So that is what we wanted to happen. We have a response here. Thank you, Rajesh, yes, sir, for that answer. Starting with what the problem is, why, then we go how to go for solution. Nasir, thank you so much for this response. And according to this response, we'll be starting with what the problem is, and then we will go on to how to the solution. Thank you so much. Are there any other responses that you would like to take up here? Any more responses that you are coming up with? Because Yash has raised a very valid question. The information is incomplete, and that is the reason we need to clarify the problem. It can go in either direction.
Dr. Soni?
Hanji?
Yes, one request. So, is it possible that we can just push a break right now and post a 10-minute break? We can continue the discussion on this problem. Is that
okay? Sure.
Okay with you?
Sure, we'll do that.
So, yes. Also, I wanted to quickly ask the participants to be on camera for a few seconds. We have 18 participants as of now, so I'll click one picture right now, and I'll take another one post the longer break. So let's hope that we can capture as many people as possible. Right. Thank you for everyone coming in. I think people were ready. Great, great, Farsad. So good to see you. Kakunda, so good to see you on camera. These are faces we rarely see on camera. Abdul, thank you. Zella, Bisham, Ilham, Farida, Ainur, Kabita, if you can come on camera, if it's possible for you. Hi, Kabita. So good to see you. Hi, hello. Mariel, Munira, if you can, please come on camera, if it is possible. I know all of them are doing work alongside, so it's slightly difficult sometimes. Okay, no worries. We'll capture the other people post another break. I'll just take a screenshot. I'll just say 3, 2, 1, smile. So let's capture your smiling faces. Okay. 3, 2, 1, smile, cheese. Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll go for a 10 minutes and we can continue the discussion post.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much.
Thanks everybody.
Welcome back after that short break, and I hope we all are more energized to clarify the problems of our hypothetical case. Since we have already received the answer before we went on break, Tanvi ma'am, can we move on to the next slide, please? This is what we have discussed. Next slide. Okay. As far as the exploring aspect is concerned, what questions you can ask to explore Rajesh's situation, and so far we already have those questions with us because, as rightly pointed out by all of you, you would like to know what is Rajesh currently struggling with, why do they want to move forward, what is hampering their growth, what is psychological issues that are causing that problem. It was also suggested that there can be conversation why Rajesh is not satisfied with the job that he has. Some more questions that can be added in the list is, what would Rajesh want to happen? What are the resources to make that happen? What can be the possible issues which is making Rajesh think of switching jobs? How can Rajesh overcome them? So these are some of the issues that we have already taken up, because such a participative people we have already answered this question. Can we move ahead? Tanvi ma'am, can we have the next slide? Tanvi ma'am, am I audible to you? Thank you so much. So as far as the exploring part is concerned, these are some of the questions that can be asked. What is really happening? What is the real challenge? How can you change the situation? What would success look like to you? Who would support you? How would you know you are on the right track or the wrong track? These are the questions which can help us to clarify the problem that our coachee is facing. Next slide, ma'am. Next. Okay. Now let us try and understand the second skill that we were talking about for developing coaching behavior, and that is partnership with ownership. Now, this is another area that as a coach, we have been talking about and we'll be developing. Can we have the case, Tanvi ma'am? Okay. Again, this is a hypothetical case which talks about a regional supply chain. Head at a medical supply company was asked by the purchase department head to take the tough decisions with a local government that was perpetually late paying for purchases. Since the payments are now delayed for longest time, the purchase department head suggested choking off supply. But the manager is worried that government officials would turn that into a big scene. It is a high-stakes situation and he needed guidance. You have been in a similar situation earlier in your career, and he turns to you to seek advice. So now, this person is your coachee, caught in a situation where on one hand, the payment has to be made. On the other hand, the party which is not paying is the local government. And obviously, we can't cross lines with the local government. That is what one of the view here is. So what can be done? It's a high-stakes situation. Going against the government, waiting for the money to come. What? How to deal with this situation? It has been a long time since the money has come. If the person comes to you with this kind of a problem, what advice or what kind of coaching would you provide to this person? What would be your initial advice to the manager? Can we have some answers on this? I'm sure many of us have been through a similar situation with the government, with the management. Any response that comes to you? Do we have a response in the chat box? Okay. Yeah, sure, Elam, sir. Anything that you can suggest to your coaching in this particular case? Okay, we have first answer. And Kavita says the company needs to pursue necessary action for the recovery of the payment, irrespective of whether, I think she means to say that whether the other party is government or not. Okay, so we have one view which says that necessary action has to be pursued or taken. Thank you so much, Kavita, for that initial response, for that wonderful response also. That was one view. Outstanding payment irrespective whether the other party is government department. Sure, Kavita, we got your point. So, some more responses. One view says we have to pursue. After all, it is payment. Other views? Just one view? Tricky situation? Difficult to decide when you have government at one side? Okay, let's move ahead. Tanvi ma'am. Can we have the next slide? Okay, we have already asked the next one. How would you coach him to develop strong partnership with the officials? I'll seek your responses here before I move on to what I had to add here. How would you coach him to develop strong partnership with the officials? Because as already suggested by Kavita, definitely we have to ask for money. Since that is the only response, I presume that all of us agree to that. Now, how would you coach him to develop strong partnership with the officials? Any suggestions, any inputs?
Well, I've been quiet. I'm trying to understand the question because initially I was attending to a phone call. I'm trying to get to the question. So to sum up, the payment is late from the government side?
Government side, right, ma'am?
The payment is late from the government side?
Yes, ma'am.
So he's in a way feeling responsible for or how to tackle that in relation to obtaining, okay.
The payment.
So, how will coaching deliver a strong partnership with the officials? So if I am to understand from his side, everything is set and was ready to go?
Whatever you coach him, he'll follow that. Because you have been to a similar situation before, you know how to handle the issue. That's what he thinks.
Okay. Well, he will need to be more involved with the government officials in relation to, instead of just sitting down, concentrating on his part. Because for me, I see it as a chain. There's a chain and he has to link it all in order to have the shipment coming in on time.
Yes.
So he will have to bridge that gap in relation to him and the government to sort of have things set in order to move forward, so to prevent such thing from repeating itself. If I'm getting
Thank you so much.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, exactly. This is exactly what we wanted to hear. The link. What is that link that is stopping? Yes, even Faisal says should be clarified why government side does not pay. And that is what Dennis also said, that where's that link? What is stopping the government from paying on time? What exactly is the issue? Where it is stuck? Sure, ma'am.
Yes, I agree with Dennis on that part, that we should determine where exactly is the bottleneck, why they can't pay on time. Definitely, there should be continuous communication on both ends so that this issue can be addressed. And probably I will tell, what's the name of the, I will tell the coach.
There's no name. There's no name, ma'am.
Okay.
There's no name.
So probably I'll tell him or her that for future engagement with the government, maybe we can put some sort of a penalty clause in the contract so that this kind of things can probably be eliminated or it can be addressed, and that the government will adhere to the contract.
Very true, ma'am. So now we have another position from which Jareen ma'am has given us the solution that we need to go back to the contract based on which this whole purchase started, and then we can have a discussion and better understanding of what can be done based on that contract. The answers that I have received, there has been, just one thing just came to my mind, that whenever we are coaching and whenever you are coaching a person like him, there are certain triggers which might be stopping him from going ahead. We all have the excellent answers here. And Charles Duhigg says, in terms of coaching also, that there are 5 types of triggers which stops a person from taking a decision even when the person is aware what needs to be done. And those 5 triggers that he has mentioned are location, time, emotional state, other people, and the immediately preceding action that has been taken. Cecilia ma'am, correct me if I'm wrong, these are the 5 areas that he has given, and these are the triggers which in general stops us from taking a decision. At times we are afraid of a location, at times we are afraid of other people, maybe time, maybe the emotional state we are in, or maybe what happened immediately before we were asked to take this particular decision. So if as a coach we can work on these also, along with the guidance that we have received from you all, that way we can help you to develop that strong partnership that is needed to solve this particular issue. Can we move ahead now? I received a response. Just give me a minute. He needs to be open to discussion and express the importance of releasing funds on time to avoid delays in supplies. Audrey, thank you so much for that response. That is exactly, we all agree on this, that open discussion. Farsad, thank you. Should be away from bribery. None of us will support that. I'm sure of that. Thank you. Thank you so much. And moving ahead, Tanvi ma'am. See the next slide. The next one. Now we move on to the previous one. Now we move on to seeking contrary data. We all are in the habit of living with what we already know. And this is the level of inference that we generally draw. We have some data, we have some observations in our day-to-day life. Based on what we already know, we make certain assumptions. Then, based on those assumptions, we interpret. Based on our interpretation, we draw a conclusion. And for future reference also, as far as our coaching behavior is concerned, we form a belief. Now, since this is based on what we already know, when we are indulging in coaching behavior, are we to follow this same ladder of inference or some change is required? Let us see. Ma'am, next one.
Dr. Soni, your screen is stuck for me.
My screen is stuck.
Now it's fine. I think it's my internet.
Okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Can you move on to the next slide, ma'am? Activity that I would like us all to indulge in. You have just been given charge of a team that you need to build. You need to assign 2 roles, head of plant operations and head of marketing. Let us remember, head of plant operations and head of marketing. In a moment, we will meet your candidates so you can decide who should get the role, which role to whom. Ma'am, introduce us to the candidates. Tanvi ma'am. The next slide. Okay, so these are our 2 candidates and we have to decide who will get the position of the role of head of plant operations and head of marketing. Ajit is 40 years old, strong project management skills, ability to lead multiple projects at the same time. He's good with technology and constantly thinks of new ways to solve issues. He's a good badminton player, likes North Indian food and loves to listen to ghazals in his free time. Then we have Ria. She is 32 years old, good with people, sets challenging goals and targets and is able to achieve them. Many colleagues attest she is a strong motivator for her team. She loves to try new cuisines like Western classical music, likes Western classical music and has performed Bharatanatyam for charity. That's a kind of a dance. Thank you, Ilham, so much. Welcome back. So these are our 2 candidates, Ajit and Ria. Again, let me repeat, you have to make up a new team and the 2 roles that you need to assign are head of plant operations and head of marketing. Ajit, plant operator. Audrey says Ajit, plant operator. Okay. And I presume that Ria is going to be the head of marketing. Okay. Your views, who is going to be the head of plant operations and who is going to be the head of marketing? Erla says head plant operation. Erla says head plant operation Ajit, Ria head of marketing, Ria marketing. Ilham, who is going to be the plant operation?
I
Yes,
say Ajit plant operation.
Okay, Dennis.
Yes,
Ajit
plant operation and Riha marketing.
Marketing. Okay, thank you, Dennis. Farsad says Ajit plant operation. Ajit is ensured to get plant operation and Ria is ensured to get marketing with our heads. Thank you. Yes, sir. You wanted to say something?
Yes, I just wanted to know whether it was not appropriate to have the job title and also the qualification requirement for both of the posts before coming to a conclusion.
Yes, sir, you have actually nailed it, literally. I'll tell you why. Because we started off with climbing a ladder based on the information that we already have, reaching a belief and taking a decision. And that was, this particular activity is all about climbing down the ladder. So you have already debriefed what I was about to say in a while. Yes, sir. We all have given our responses. They all are absolutely wonderful responses. But like rightfully pointed out by you, we don't have much information about the education background. We don't know about the experience. We just know what they do and what they are good and bad with. Based on this information, we had taken a decision. That brings us to the main point of discussion here. Can we move on to the next slide, Tanvima? Other than yes, sir, we all climbed up the ladder. If you remember that ladder we just saw, we had some observation, we had some information, and based on that, we build up to the belief. And based on that belief that people who do this can do better here, in all probability, your responses would have come. Yes, sir raised a question that the information which is available is not complete. That means in a certain way, he was seeking more information. And that is the main crux of this particular hypothetical situation that was provided. We need to climb down the ladder. Go back to the responses that you gave. Were there any biases at work that made you decide based on that short description, without any interview, without any CVs, that this is the job they are most suitable to? Maybe age, maybe gender, maybe similarity to yourself, maybe similarity to a person you know who works at that position, who can be similar to this person and that they can take up this job. As a coach, what we need to understand is the individual differences. And that is the reason why we need to climb down the ladder. How to climb down that ladder, which we all have climbed up in 2 minutes before, 2 minutes ago. Number one, recognize your bias. You know, we feel that we are not biased. Let me share some information with you. We rely on automatic judgments based on the associations that are made in our memory. Now, and this is a fact, 11 million bits of information is received every moment by an average human brain. Out of this, only 40 bits of information is processed consciously. Rest 99.99996% of information is processed unconsciously. Now, this unconscious preferences that we called just a minute back, we saw of human brain is developed through the patterns that we have recognized over our lifetimes. And that is the reason, even when we say that we are not biased, because of the conditioning, because of the kind of lives that we have lived, biases do enter the picture. So the first step as a coach is to know our bias. Again, awareness, acceptance, and change. What to do? We have this whole workshop upon breaking the unconscious bias, but just to summarize it here, we need to be mindful, we need to take a step back, and we need to reflect. Is this our bias we are working on? We are climbing down the ladder. Then can we question our assumption and conclusions? Like, for example, Yash did that. He might have come up with a solution, which course has to be given to whom, but he questioned that. Can we all question that assumptions that come automatically to us? Then seek out contrary data. What does not go with what we already know? It might have come as something we are not biased or we don't do that. But just think about it. Maybe we do. Maybe it happens. It happens to the best of us. Let me be the first one to accept it happens with me. I'm a psychologist. It happens with me because I'm a human being as well. So we need to climb down the ladder. and seek contrary data to what we already know. Are we together on this? Can we move ahead? Thank you. Thank you. Now, co-develop plan. This is another strategy that we can use to develop the coaching behavior. Yash, let me read what he has written. A person rises to his level of incompetence. Therefore, someone may be very good at the level where she is performing, but once assigned higher responsibilities, he or she cannot deliver. Therefore, need all information for an informed decision. Exactly, sir. Thank you so much for making it even easier for us to understand. Thank you. Yes, sir. Okay. Tanvi ma'am, can we have the next slide? Okay. Now we move on to the 4D cycle. This cycle talks about discover, the current status, the best of what is, where you are, then dream, scenario planning, what might be, then design, action planning, what should be ideal, and deliver, desired status, yeah, how to empower, learn, adjust, and improve. So this is what is called the 4D cycle. Discover, where you are, dream, what you want to do, design, what action needs to be taken, and deliver, the desired status that you want to achieve. Again, let me revise. We are talking in terms of co-development. So we as a team are together, in which we might be playing the role of a coach. Ma'am, can we have the next slide, Tanvi ma'am? Okay. For co-developing the plan, this is the scenario that we have. Imagine you are heading a manufacturing company that wants to develop its capacity for innovation in order to expand research and development and earn more market share. Your strategic focus is improving innovation in the company. That's where we are. Let's go develop the plan. Ma'am, can we have the next slide? Okay. Now, this is in a way kind of time for some kind of a reflection that we have learned so far. Let's go develop. When we are starting with discover, appreciating and value the best of what is, can there be some questions that you can ask to explore this phase? If you know where you already are there any questions that can be asked? If you ask me, some of my inputs here would be, what do we have? What do we know? What are the technical skills we already possess? Because we are talking in terms of research and development. Any other questions you would like to add to this list? Because then we can understand in totality what co-development is. Or any of these areas. For example, the next stage is dream. How do we want things to be in future? Or design, determining what should be, or delivering, innovating what will be. Basically, the task here is to develop questions that can be asked during these 4 phases. Can I have inputs from you all? Which question? Yes. Perhaps a sounding exercise to know existing availability. Thank you, Yash. So I hope Yash is talking in terms of discover, because he said that he wants to know about existing abilities. Okay, thank you. So that is one question that has been given to us by Yash for the stage of discover.
Okay, for the stage of discover, yes, yeah, is right. You need to know what exactly is working currently.
Yes.
And
yes.
The dream on what is currently working is how to improve on same, whilst you are thinking of having new things to come in.
Yes.
And also what you discover, what is working, why is it the best? Why is it working? What you have discovered on the why, and then you can move on to the dream, is to enhance on what is actually working and introduce new ways of how to proceed. Then eventually you'll move on to the design on what should be. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dennis ma'am. She has covered discover and dream for us beautifully. Can we have some quick questions on design and deliver also? Because this makes us think, and when all this is put together, that is what co-development is. Some inputs for for design and deliver.
So when you deliver, you need to think ahead. Sorry, not to deliver, to design. You need to think ahead because you are thinking in the future. So you will be thinking like in 10, 20 years time. Definitely there will be innovation. Definitely there will be ways of, even when you discover what you are doing good, what is okay, definitely in the design, you need to improve on that. So to facilitate, and the future will be okay with it in terms of whatever you decide to produce and deliver. To you have to be innovative in how you're going to deliver such design that you have foreseen. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dennis ma'am. We have one more answer for Discover by Andre, and it is said what is required, who is required, and how much resources required to start the process. Excellent, excellent, Andre. So basically, the point here is, to which we all agree, discover, dream, design, deliver, the questions that we need answers for. Once we have that, it is what we call co-development, because we are moving from discover to dream to design and to deliver, and we all are there in it together. Thank you so much, ma'am. Tanvi ma'am, can we move ahead? Collaborate and challenge. Next slide, ma'am. Now we are collaborating and also challenging ourselves. Okay, this is a situation which is very interesting. Let me read the situation to you. It is approximately 10 a.m. in mid-July, and you have just crash landed in Sonora Desert near the Mexico-USA border. The plane has completely burned out, only the frame remains. Miraculously, the 6 passengers are uninjured, but the pilot has been killed. The pilot was unable to tell anyone of your position before the crash. However, ground sightings taken shortly before the crash suggest that you were about 65 miles off the course filed in your flight plan. A few moments before the crash, the pilot indicated you were about 70 miles southeast of a mining camp. The camp is the nearest known settlement. The immediate area is quite flat, and except for the occasional thorn bush and cacti, is rather barren. Before the plane caught fire, your group was able to save 10 items on the desk. Your task is to rank them according to their importance to your survival in the desert. Rank the items starting with 1 for the most important, down to 10 for the least important. Ma'am, can we have the next slide? Okay. Let's do this together. Tanvi ma'am, should we break them into groups for 5 minutes?
I mean, the call is yours, Dr. Soni. We will just, we have to figure it out as per time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. What we can do is, we all can do it together here. Okay. So I hope the situation is clear. Lost in a desert, near desert, the plane has crashed, the pilot has died. The nearest location that you are aware of is a mining camp, and the area is quite flat. These are the 10 things that you have taken, but you can go ahead with only 7 of these. The items that we have with us are torch, penknife, plastic raincoat, bandage kit, pistol, parachute, water, 1 liter of water per person, sunglasses per person, 1 coat per person, cosmetic mirror. Individually, can we rank these in terms of importance? Which 7 items you are carrying with you for sure? Can we rank order these?
Yeah. Can you just put back the slide? I have a screenshot,
sure.
And I'll work on it, please. Thank you.
Sure. Tanvi ma'am, can we have, yeah.
Thank you.
And the next slide also, ma'am, so that they all can see the items. Thank you. You have 2 minutes because you need to run away from that plane also. So we'll only give you 2 minutes to decide. Such situations require quick answers. Okay, the time is up. Can we have your responses? In terms of importance. Okay, Audrey says 6, 7, parachute, water, 3, plastic raincoat, 1, 4, torch, bandage kit, pistol, and then 2, pen knife. So he has left out the last 3, sunglasses, coat, and cosmetic mirror. Okay. Any other
So,
response?
if
Please,
I may
please, go ahead.
try, if I may
Sure.
try, for me, I'm seeing the current situation. So definitely I will go for the first one, be number 7, because you are sort of in a desert and it's 10 a.m. So there's lots of sun. So definitely my number 1 will be ensure that everybody has got a liter of water per person. Then I move on to number 8. 1 pair of sunglasses per person, because it's a desert. It's very, it's hot. There's the sun. So the eyes might be affected. So we are some kilometers very far away. So this is it. I don't know why I chose planners. Should not be number 3. Number 4, I will go for bandage kit with gauze, because the desert is flat. Only thorn, bush, and cacti. At times we might get scratched or injured too. And I'll take a pen knife just in case I have to cut whatever the thorn bush is in my way. Okay. Then I'll proceed with the cosmetic mirror. In relation to, in case I spot an aircraft, I have to use the mirror or anything to use the light to indicate the reflection. And number 6, I think the 6th one, I think between the torch and the coat, I'll choose the coat because it's hot, but it's still 10 a.m. I have hope that we'll make it before the sunset. So in case it sort of tends to sort of get a little cold, I get 1 coat per person. Then the last one will be torch, because I'm convinced we might reach the place before evening. If not, I'll have the torch. So this is how I proceed with it.
Thank you so much. I could actually visualize myself on that desert with you and you taking all the decisions for all of us. Thank you, Dennis. You explained it so beautifully. Thank you. Okay, then we have Yash also, and he also says that water is most important, followed by sunglasses. Zella also says water is very important, then torch for her, and 4 and 2, bandage kit and pen knife. Okay. More responses. We all are agreeing that water definitely we are taking with us. We all agree to water.
Yes.
Most of us have replied that they'll be taking water. Any more response that you would like to share?
I'd like to try mine.
Sure, darling.
Yes, so number 1 will definitely be water. Next is the coat per person. We need it for protection. And number 3 is the plastic raincoat. That's additional protection since we are on the desert, so we really need that. Number 4 is the cosmetic mirror. Like what Dennis said, if we need to be rescued, the mirror can be used to reflect, so we can easily be seen. Next is the parachute. I put this in the middle of the list because it can be a sort of protection also, because we don't know that there may be a sandstorm, so the parachute can be used to protect us. Next is the pistol. I know there are wild animals, so we can use that to protect also. And the pen knife, if there is a need to cut things Next, the bandage, if someone got hurt. Then the torch definitely is on the 9th of the list, for the possibility that we may be there during the night. And
Right.
but I put the sunglasses last. I was thinking that we can still survive even it's sunny, very sunny, and that's why I put it on the last part.
Okay, so one thing I know for sure that if I'm ever lost on a desert, I would love to be with Dennis and Darlene, as they are the safest people, and they're going to guide me out of that place for sure. Thank you. And can we have the next slide? Now here's the challenge. We all have come up with our individual list. When we are in an organizational situation with all our individual thoughts, reasoning, past experiences in place, we all need to agree on what items to take forward. For example, in this case, I'm sure, like for example, Dennis and Darlene would have had a good discussion on whether to take sunglasses or not. For one, it was really important. For Dennis, it was really important. For Darlene, it was not that important. Had we been put together actually on this desert, making a decision in collaboration with those with whom we are, if we bring in our own case for coaching behavior, for coaching, the challenge would be to collaborate what I want as a coach and what the coachee wants. So there's a balance, and this is one point that all of us have been bringing together in one way or the other. Where is the balance? So here, through collaboration, that is a challenge. Through collaboration, we reach that balance. We are not indulging in that fight here because I hope none of us are caught on that desert ever and we all are safe and sound. But in organization, we have different kind of challenges for which we need to collaborate. Can we move ahead? Can we, ma'am? Now we are on this last point, which is about celebrate and reflect. Yes, it is time for us to celebrate, putting all the points together that we have learned so far. Ma'am, next point, next slide. Now, before we move ahead, we have to reflect. Now, this reflection, definitely for obvious reasons of confidentiality, I won't be asking you to share because there might be things that cannot be talked about at a group level. So this is something that you can reflect upon in your own time. Reflect on what you can use the handbook also that you have with you to write down, to note down the answers to these. Ma'am, can we have the next slide? As far as rewarding behavior is concerned, what are the behaviors that you reward as a coach? Again, how should this be changed? Is there, to start with, is there a need to change this kind of behavior? If there is, how can this be changed? Again, point to reflect. This is up to you as a coach. This is in a way a takeaway from this discussion that we had. Which behaviors you reward? Is there a need to change? And if there is a need to change based on your understanding so far, how should this be changed in terms of your appreciation that you give to your team? Ma'am, next slide. Ignore. Are there any behaviors that you ignore? Yes, I'll just come back to you. Just give me a minute. Behaviors that I ignore. Are there any behaviors that you ignore of your coaching? If yes, how should this be changed? Are you ignoring certain things? And is there a need to change? And if yes, how? Next slide. Corrective action. Behaviors where you provide corrective action. Again, do you feel it is on the right direction? If it is, leave it. Fine, you're doing perfect. If there is a need to change based on what we have discussed so far, maybe there are some biases, maybe there are some incomplete information on which you have been working. How should this be changed? Coming to you, Yash. Waiting for your inputs.
I just wanted to share something that we discussed yesterday in the case study. Yesterday, there was a case study regarding the film Chak De India. And at one point in time, although one of the players scored a goal, and yet the coach was not happy. Why was he not happy? Because although the player has scored the goal, he has worked individually and at the cost of other issues. So perhaps the player could have missed the goal. There was another player who was best placed position to put the goal. Unfortunately, he did not pass on the ball to her. So while we were speaking about behaviors and reward, perhaps it's not just attaining the goal which is important.
Yes, very true. Very true.
That I want.
Yes, that was a wonderful point that you brought up. It is not only about what kind of individual behavior we are rewarding. It also needs to be seen whether it fits the long-term vision and mission for which we are working. And that sums it all up. I mean, this is a new way of looking at things, which you and me both are taking from this workshop. We may be doing our best, but it is aligned with the long-term goal. Is it aligned with the team? Is it aligned with the vision and mission? Because that is what we are working for. Thank you so much, Yash, for giving us a new perspective on looking at rewards, not only from the perspective of being right or wrong, but also from the perspective of being right in the long run and for the organization's vision and mission and vision or not. Thank you, Yash, for bringing vision and mission back to us. Thank you. Tanvi, can we have the next slide? Okay. To sum it all up, reflect. Number one, stop. What should you stop doing? You can take this from this workshop, from this discussion. Stop, continue, start. What can you stop doing? What should you continue doing? And what should you start doing? If we can come up with these answers based on these three questions, what should you stop doing? What should you continue doing? And what should you start doing? We have something to work with as far as coaching is concerned. Next slide, Tanvi. Again, a quick recap. This is what we have discussed so far. Coaching for solutions. For coaching for solutions, we have to clarify the problem. We have to create partnership with ownership. We have to help and seek contrary data. We have to co-construct a development program. We have to collaborate and challenge. And we have to celebrate and reflect. The next slide, ma'am. As you walk out the door, next slide. These can be your actions where you can think of a team member you would like to coach. Whom do you want to coach in your team? What objectives were agreed upon before the coaching began? Which objectives, if any, have not yet been fully achieved? And what steps could be taken in the future to achieve them? What opportunities would you provide to help the person being coached to look for solutions? What are the 3 golden rules of coaching that you would start, stop, continue to coach for solution? Answer to these questions is going to be your action. Yes, thank you so much. Yes says STOP is an acronym. Stop, think, what we should be, what we should reinforce, what we should be stopped, what should be improved. O, organize. We are waiting for P. Stop, think, organize. Process towards success. Thank you so much, Yash. So it is stop, think, organize, proceed towards success. Stop. Thank you so much for that. And it will make us easier to remember. Can we have the last slide, Tanvi? Next slide. Okay. What is the one insight that you're taking from this workshop? I'll disturb you all again. Can someone share what is that one insight that you are taking away from this workshop? Having a growth mindset will surely enhance coaching. Thank you, Dennis. Any other sharing you would like to have? We would like to know more about the insights that you are taking.
Also the feedback in order to see how we are doing now. So to look forward to new objectives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cecilia. Where we are at present and where we would like to be in a nutshell. Thank you. Can we have some more responses?
I think for me, the insight, it can be, coaching can be a challenge, but we have to look forward in coaching, because that's the only thing that we can also help the organization, help our peers, and also help the organization in attaining the goals. And aside from that, we also through coaching, we also learn from our peers. So that's my insight or my takeaway here.
Thank you so much, Darlene. Very true. Let me tell you something here. Coaching is for life. I mean, it takes a lifetime to develop that kind of a mindset, to be in that mindset. And it is a journey which might have started for some of us. And with that, yes, Audrey also says coaching for success. Thank you. Yes, says there's always possibility for growth. We just need to have the right mindset. Thank you so much, Yash. So with this, we have your sharings also, your insight also. I hope those of you who have not yet shared, you have it with you, and we'll be working together for this. Ma'am, can we have the last slide? Can we, ma'am? Okay. For those of us who are fond of reading, these are some of the suggestions from our end. Growth Mindset Coach, Leon Miller, Solve It, Dieter Sturner, and Critical Thinking, Joko Babin and Ray Manson. Dennis, thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks to you all. That's all from my side. It was a beautiful, so beautiful to be with you all. Thank you. Over to you, Tanvi ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Soni. You took everyone through, I hope that all of them have some insights to develop a solutions mindset, which is the main insight for this program. And you have helped them all with a smiling face all through.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So do we have more inputs in chat?
Ma'am, they are
They're just thanking you.
It's thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So participants, with this, we come to the end of the first session of today. We'll be going for a 20 minutes break, and we'll come back with a session on agility in a team, which is the next topic. I just wanted to confirm if Jester, Mariel, Zella, if you are back, Ainur, we would like to capture your photographs as well, because you were missing in the previous one. Farida, are you there right now? Okay, I think they are not. Okay,
Zella is here.
Yes, you are there. So can you just switch on your camera for a few seconds? I'll just take a screen grab. We'll just include you in the group photograph as well, since you have been a regular participant every day, so we don't want to miss out. Yes, hi Jester. Thank you for coming on camera. So these are people who have been active all through on chat, Dr. Soni.
Very true, very true.
Seeing them on camera. Okay, okay. So for now, I'll just, Zella, we are just waiting for you. If you are on camera. Okay, Ilham, okay, we'll wait for you.
Just a minute. Farsad, yes, if all of us can switch on the camera, that will be great. Zella says it's
Okay.
not connecting.
No issues, Zella. We'll do it once more towards the end at 4 p.m. Don't worry. Don't stress yourself over this. Don't worry. Okay. So we'll just wait for Ilham if you can come in, and then I'll quickly capture once again. Okay. Ilham, whenever you come in, you can just ping me on WhatsApp, right? I'll click yours separately. I'll do that. Okay. Smile once more, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. I captured. Thank you,
Thank you so
Dr.
much.
We go for
Thank
a
you so
break.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks to all. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye. Participants who are back, can you all just give me a thumbs up? Just to react a thumbs up. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Jester. Thanks, Ola, Kapita. Okay. All right. Hi, Arvind. Good afternoon. Yeah. Arvind, your audio is slightly flickering a little bit.
Okay. Okay. Let me
Yeah.
just.
Yes. Yes. You
Is
can.
it better now? Is it better now?
Slightly better. Okay.
Slightly
you can
better.
just, yeah, you can just settle in. Till then, I'll just welcome our participants. And
Right.
then when we'll start with your session, then we can just figure out, right? All right.
Right.
So participants, we will start with the second session for the day, which is agility in a team with our coach and coach for the day from AITD, Mr. Arvind Deshmukh. And before I give the stage to Arvind, I'll just take this opportunity to briefly introduce him. Arvind is a certified corporate coach, author, and learning and development professional with over 16 years of work experience. He holds a Bachelor of Engineering with honors in instrumentation and control. He has done his MBA in international business from Thunderbird School of Global Management, USA. He has developed and delivered several in-person and online training workshops, both in developed countries and emerging markets. He has been a certified AITD coach and with us since a long time. And now I'll just, Arvind, you can just take it over from here.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just share my screen now.
Yes.
So my screen.
Yeah, but your audio is still a little bit.
Okay. It's not here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do. Yeah, you can do one thing, Arvind. You can just try to close any extra tabs on your system which might be taking any bandwidth, anything going in the background. That will just save your bandwidth a little bit.
Okay. So let me. So like for a little bit, I'll turn off my video.
No issues, no issues. And you can stop sharing. We can take a few seconds. No issues.
Right.
Yeah.
You can just give me one moment.
Yes.
Okay. So I turned off my video. So is the audio better now?
Audio is much better. I think you can then just come on and off on camera whenever you want to interact with participants. That should be fine.
Right.
That will save your bandwidth. So whenever someone is responding or you want to interact, you can be on camera. Otherwise.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. So first of all, I'll begin with my apology. Thank you, Tanvi. Yeah. So thank you very much, Tanvi, for the kind introduction. And I would begin with an apology that I think because of a bandwidth issue, I'm not able to turn on my video. so you can't see me while I speak. But I guess like all of you have seen my face, so you know how I look like. You can give me a thumbs up if you have seen my face already, or I'll tell my for a little bit so that you know you can connect the face to the name. Yeah. So so thank you very much for being part of this training, and I'm very excited to be a part of this forum as well. I hope my audio is clear now, Tanvi. My audio is
Yes.
clear. Are you able to
Yes.
hear?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Arvind Deshmukh. As Tanvi introduced me, that I have been with AITD for a while now, and I do trainings. I have trained in both developing countries and international markets. So I am looking forward for a very, exciting interaction with you guys as well. So so today we are going to be, today we'll have a small discussion on developing agility in the team. And this session, this is like a discussion oriented session. So this creates a lot of energy in the room and people like to discuss, they like to talk around. So I would appreciate if you guys also, keep interrupting me every now and then, and we talk and we discuss more about the topic. So can I get a thumbs up from everyone if you are on the same page? Okay. So what we'll do is that we will begin. Okay, so we'll begin. So the topic for today is developing agility in teams. So I would like to begin with asking you all, to set the context here, I would like to ask you all that what is your perception of change? How do you in your line of work see changes? Do you think change is good? Do you think change is bad? So what do you perceive change as? Okay, so we have a few things that are coming in on the chat window as well. I'll take a look at that. Okay. So can I get a few responses that how do you perceive change? What do you think change is good? Okay. So Audra says change is good. And feel free to talk. Yes.
Yeah, for me, I see change, my perception of change, I see change as a positive thing, because it helps you to do things differently, to imply whatever has not been done before, to try new things. And yes, that's so far what I think about change.
Okay, thank you so much, Fasad. In fact, like what you said makes a lot of sense because change brings in new dimensions. Change brings in new elements that we had not discovered before. Change creates that element of newness. Change brings that freshness, to the things out here. So thank you very much, Fasad, for giving that insight. Can I have some more insights about your perception of change? Is somebody okay? So there are a few things, changes moving forward in an organization or personal life. Oh, thank you, Yash. Yes, so change is moving forward. Yeah, of course, like, we have to move forward and we cannot remain stagnant all the time. So we have to keep moving forward and we have to keep embracing change. Change means to make a difference. Yeah, thank you, Farsad, for that. Okay, so can I have a few more responses on your perception of change? Does somebody feel that change is not good?
I think for me, can I?
I'm sorry.
Can I be heard?
Oh, you darling.
Yes. For me, change is both good and bad. It depends on the situation. Like the famous quote, there's nothing constant in this world but change, right? So
Exactly.
changes, they definitely will provide in a person, it can change a person. It depends on the perception. So there are things that can have a good effect or a bad effect on a person. Same thing goes in an organization. So it basically depends on how the person or the organization perceives the situation or the change that is happening or that happened. It may help, so definitely it's a good thing. It may put some things into a disadvantage, so it becomes a bad thing.
Thank you so much, darling. That was like an amazing input. That change is bad. I mean, and I completely agree. I hear that change is both good and bad. I mean, change brings in a freshness to the picture, which is very true. But however, like change also has a negative aspect to it. I mean, change sometimes can be bad as well because I mean, change can actually disrupt some best practices that are already going on in an organization or a society or a nation. So like we see changes, I mean, and we are, I mean, we can say that we are fortunate or we are fortunate to be living in times where change is happening at a very, very rapid pace. I mean, change is taking place all over the world. I mean, change is taking place in the organizations, in the way we are working, technology, international relations, and sometimes like changes are happening for good, sometimes changes are not happening for good. So whenever change is happening, like we have to analyze where is this change taking us? Where is this change leading us to? So is change good or change bad? So thank you very much, Darlene, for making that point. It was really commendable. I'm looking at the chat window and I'm seeing some very, very interesting comments out here. So change allows us to engage in continuous improvement. Of course, Kavita, change allows us to engage in continuous improvement because we have to keep improving. If we have to keep improving, if we have to keep progressing, then we have to implement change because unless and until like we change, unless and until like, you know, we choose a slightly different way of moving forward, it becomes difficult for us to progress both in terms of organization and in terms of society. So thank you very much, Kavita, for making that point. I'm going through the chat window out here. Change is the only constant. If you do not walk with change, you are doomed. Thank you, Rajwanti, for making that point. Change is the only constant. If you do not walk the change, you are doomed. So, but change should be properly managed, or again, you will be doomed. Again, change is like a two-edged sword. I mean, it can defend you from the perpetrators and it can also chop off your head if it is done in the wrong way. So of course, I mean, there are two sides of a coin. Like, you know, there are two aspects of everything. So change has a good aspect as well. Change has a bad aspect as well. Yeah, and given that it's inevitable, we need to grab the positive side of it. Yeah, of course, yes. There is always a positive side of change, and we should always change for good. And that's why we say change for good. Okay, so there is some echo in the sound. Okay, so I just read a comment here by Yash that there is an echo in the sound. So is my voice coming in properly now, or do you think it's still a problem?
Now it is. It is coming in correctly.
It is coming in correctly.
It's good now. Yeah.
Now it's okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Denise. Thank you so much, Denise, for that. Okay, so now that like we have a good idea about the perception of change, let us do a little activity together. So I think the 22 of us, and this is post lunch. Yeah, so we have been there for a while now and we have been doing some interesting sessions out here. And this is post lunch. So let us try doing a little activity. Are we on for that? Like we'll do a little activity together. So we are what we'll do is that we are going to split you up in groups and we will do a little activity, a little exercise. All right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, and before that, Farsad also made a nice comment out here, so I'll just read that out. Change also is a transition from a situation to another situation, but it does not mean get the target unless the goals are clear and analyzed well. So thank you, Farsad, for making that amazing point that although in a change we're transitioning from one point to the other, but the positive aspect of change will not come out till the time there is clarity around the goals. So if we want to change, like we have to set the direction for ourselves. If you're not setting the right direction for ourselves, if you're not setting the right tone for ourselves, if you're not setting the right pace for ourselves, will not be able to change in a good way. And thank you, Farsad, for making that point. That is an amazing point. Yeah. And now we're going to do a little activity together. So what we're going to do is that we're going to put you in groups. And I think there are 23 of us, 22 of us right now. So I think like we can create approximately 4 groups, or we'll create like 5 groups, or we'll create 4 groups, and we'll have like 5 to 6 people each. And then like for another like 7 to 8 minutes, 5 minutes, let's say, like another 5 minutes, we are going to be working on an activity. So what we're going to be doing is, this is the scenario. So I'll give you a minute to read this up. I'll give you a minute to read this. Okay, so give me a thumbs up if you have already read this. If you have been able to read this already. Okay, so thank you, Denise, for that. So I believe like everyone has read all of this. Audrey, Darlene, Ilham. So I believe like all of us have read this. Okay, so are we ready for the activity now? Perfect, 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 perfect. Yeah, so we'll do that. Okay, so what we're going to do is that the activity here is, so the activity here is that there is a toy company called Toys Incorporation, and you are a part of the C-suite team. So there are going to be 5 of you in the team. So the first thing is that you have to decide, you have to choose a role amongst yourself. One of you can be a CEO, one of you can be a CFO, one can be a CHRO, head of human resources, one of you be a CTO. Yeah, and once we do that, then you'll have 5 minutes and you will have to design a logo for Toys Incorporation. So Toys Incorporation is the company that manufactures toys. So you have to design a logo for your company, keeping in mind the relevant roles, right? You are the CEO, CFO, CHRO, CTO, Chief Marketing Officer, Chief Creative Officer, and then you design a logo for your company. Okay, okay. So what we're going to do is that we're going to split you into rooms now. Tanvi, can I get a little help?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, Arvind, the 5-6 minutes is fine, right?
Yeah, 5-6 minutes should be good enough.
Okay, okay. So there are 3 rooms, and one room has 5 people and the other 2 has 6 each. So I request all the participants to join the rooms. A pop-up window must have appeared for you to join. So you can just click on join and you'll be redirected.
Okay. So, okay. Can you hear me? Denise, can you hear me? Audrey?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Yeah, so sorry about that. It did not turn out the way we thought it's going to be. I mean, usually like these activities are a lot of fun. Yeah, these activities are a lot of fun, you know, like when we work together. Yeah, because now like Zoom also has the technology to support it.
Yes, we were doing some brainstorming, but unfortunately time ran out.
Hi, it's not allowed because
Hi, Babita.
Hi, Denise. How are you?
We enjoy it a lot.
Yes.
Hi, Babita.
Hi, Cecilia. How are you? Hi, darling.
Hi, Babita. Hello.
Fine. How are you?
Oh, we're good.
Cecilia, I'm happy to see you looking better now today.
Cecilia is smiling.
Nice to see you. We've not been seeing you so many days.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I feel like but now I feel so well. Thank you.
So I'm going to share my screen one more time. I'm going to share my screen one more time.
We are taking the lecturer's time.
Oh, that's okay. I don't mind. Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen one more time, and my apology. I mean, this did not work out the way we thought it's going to be. So because
Okay.
like this activity is a lot of fun. Like, we collaborate, we talk, like we do a few things, fun things together, and then we
Ouais.
try to derive insights out of it. Yeah, and those insights are sometimes amazing. Yeah. So basically, but I think we can discuss around this. I mean, we all are here, so we can discuss this around in the group. Okay. So yeah. So the thing here was that these are two. So basically, like, we wanted to give you two scenarios. I'm going to show it to you. So we wanted to give you two scenarios. In the first scenario, you are a part of the C-suite team. One of you is the CEO, one of you is the CHRO, one of you is the CMO, one of you is the CTO. So basically, we are working in a hierarchy. So like we have a boss, like we have the CEO, and then like we have a few people who are reporting to him or her, and we're designing the logo accordingly. And like there is like a structure. Yeah. The second situation here is that we are again designing a logo, but in this case, like, we are working in a relatively flat structure. So we are working in a relatively flat structure. So basically, let us take a moment. I mean, although like we could not do this activity in person, but let us take a moment to introspect that in one scenario, when we are working in an organization which has a hierarchy, which works in a hierarchy mode, I mean, there is like a very clear order of hierarchy. So how would we execute a task when we are working in such an organization? And the second scenario is that we are working in a matrix kind of a structure. We are working in a relatively flatter organization where everyone is kind of equal. So how are we going to work in that kind of a situation? So let me pick up your brains on this. I mean, if you're working in a hierarchy and you're working in a flat organization, what are the differences that you perceive in the working environment?
May I?
Absolutely, absolutely. Please go ahead.
For me, working in a hierarchy organization means that you'll have to respect the hierarchy. You will have to, like, you cannot, if you are at the first level of the ladder, you cannot voice out everything. You will think 100 times before you're voicing out something. While if you are in a flat organization, you feel like friends. They are my bosses, despite all the respect, all the everything that, despite that they have an open door policy, you will always think twice before opening your mouth. While if you have a flatter organization, it is I'm giving my opinion. If it is a flatter organization, then we are colleagues. We are all friends. We are not colleagues. We are friends. So we can speak out our mind. We can discuss. It's free. There's more freedom in a flatter organization as compared to hierarchy organization. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Rajwanti, for making that point. Yes, there is definitely more freedom in a flatter organization. There is freedom of expression. There is freedom of doing things. In a hierarchy, like we have to follow a protocol. We have to like follow a certain code of conduct while we are executing the things. Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Rajwanti, for making that point. Yash, you want to say something?
Yes. For me, I think we need to know, first of all, the work to be accomplished. Because even in a hierarchy, there is a top-down directives and also up, I would say, bottom-up ideas that goes on. It's not just because if I'm as a head of the department, I'm not well acquainted with that particular situation. Perhaps I can have the views of my close subordinate on the issue. Okay. I do understand that in a flat situation, in a flatter organization, there is more collaboration between all the employees. But then even if there is a hierarchy, very often it all depends upon the circumstances.
Exactly. And thank you very much, Yash, for making that point. In fact, like, you have made like a very critical point out here that it's not that, if we are in a hierarchy, the things are going to move the way we think it is going to move. Because in hierarchy, I mean, there is a certain amount of order that we see. So there is a clarity around the goal. So it's very important that whenever we are executing the task, we have to have clarity around the goal. If we don't have clarity around the goal, if we don't have clarity around the objectives, then the things get kind of messed up. So in hierarchy, I mean, sometimes the benefit of the hierarchy comes in this way that there is like a clarity around the goal because the diktat is coming from the top. So these guys at the top must have thought of something. They must have planned, they must have organized, and after doing the due diligence, they take a decision and they put it down to their lower team members. So there is this. However, in a matrix structure, like in a flat structure, like we have the freedom to speak out and like we have the freedom to give our own ideas, to give our own suggestions. But at the same time, like there's also a downside to it that it might make things a little more messy. So yeah, so thank you very much, Yash, for making that point. And all depends upon the situation. Darlene, you want to say something?
Yes, I just want to add, in relation to what the others also mentioned, I do agree in a flat organization that it's not very restrictive. You can voice out almost everything, but we always have to be respectful. In a hierarchy, there's it depends on the approach. If it's definitely there are directives, but there are also what we call it's top down and sometimes it's bottoms up. So the legworks or the planning are being done at the bottom and it's cascaded to the top management for their approval. I just want to share some in the scenario that we have is
right.
Really the staff this is a hierarchical organization. So usually we also enjoy the collaborative part. Why? Because on the staff level, they do all the legwork. They collaborate. So they do all the staff work. So all the logistics regarding everything. Then they provide all the options or the solutions if there are problems to be tackled. They provide several options which they cascade to the management, wherein the management the only thing that the management that needs that he or she needs to do is to approve or disapprove whatever proposal is on the table. So it's like and also on the part of the management, if they are not satisfied, they can probably talk with the middle managers. So they will ask additional recommendation or probably they will ask for I want this revised, something like that. So I think that's something that we do, and for me it's kind of effective because we can collaborate with one another even if it's the top management or it's the middle management.
Right. Thank you, Darlene, for making that point. And collaboration, like you use the word collaboration. Collaboration is the key out here. Even if you're working in a hierarchical organization or we are working in a flat organization, unless and until like we are able to collaborate at a certain level, at a certain intensity, at a certain level of relationship, outcome is not going to be out there. So thank you very much, Darlene, for making that point. Yeah. So the key here is collaboration. Whether we are working in a top-down organization or we are working in a flat organization, it's very important that we have to establish that connect with people. Unless and until we establish that connect, we might be in a situation that we don't want to be. So yeah. So thank you very much for making those very interesting points. So here is a little bit of a debrief on that, what is hierarchy versus what is agile, what is a flat structure. So in a hierarchy structure, basically like there is command, there is control. So there is a top level directive that is coming down. What is the focus? The focus is input and output measures. So basically like the criteria of success, the measures are defined in black and white. So I'm sure like all of you agree with me here as well that, when we are working in a hierarchy organization, like our metrics for success are very clear. I mean, they're defined in black and white. So there is not much of a gray area out there. And then their values, professional excellence, reliability, managing risk, focus, excellence, like these are all the values which are there in a hierarchical organization. How does the planning happen? Like, planning happens usually once in a year, and the planning comes from top to the bottom. So basically, like the people are planning. So like, at the top, like, they're planning the corporate strategy. So like, at the complete top, like at the topmost level, there is the vision that is coming down, the vision and the mission of the organization is coming down. Then at the C-suite level, there is the corporate strategy. Below that, at the vice president level, there is a business strategy. And then at the managerial level, it is more of tactical. I mean, this is how literature goes, that, we have corporate strategy, we have business strategy, and we have tactical strategy. And that's how typically hierarchy works. Yeah. And usually, like, the external environment remains fixed out here. However, in a relatively flatter organization, the output are measured using indicators, and these indicators are bound to change. There is a customer focus, there is innovation, there is a lot of speed. I mean, changes happens very quickly, and there is also a lot of acceptance to change. Meetings happen very often. I mean, people meet on a regular basis. I mean, people go out and retreat, they talk and discuss the things. They discuss what are the changing customer perceptions and how we can actually tailor our organization needs according to the customer perceptions. And the external environment is always, and the internal environment is always subject to change as per the external environment. So like those are the kind of differences between a hierarchical organization and a flat organization. So I hope this makes sense. Does this make sense? Like this slide? The content on the slide?
Yes.
Right. And this actually sets the tone for today's presentation, that what we're going to do here is, in today's session, we are going to be discussing that how we can make our organizations more agile. Because how many of you agree with me? Yash, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but just from the explanation that has been given, perhaps my understanding is that in a hierarchy setup, do you mean that it is not agile?
No, I definitely don't mean that. Even hierarchy can be agile. Definitely,
Yes.
hierarchy can be agile, but the agility in a hierarchy organization depends upon the leadership. So if the leadership, like the top leadership, believes in agility, believes in implementing the change, then the organization is going to change. However, in a flat structure, like the agility can come from anywhere. So are you getting my point? So basically, like,
because just for instance, I wanted to share with you that the COVID pandemic, for instance, bring in certain issues at a government level, and where I will say that is government has been on the forefront to come up with many measures to alleviate the problems. Okay, and decision taking, I will say, at that level was very agile, even if we are in a hierarchy.
Yes. Yeah, because in the COVID pandemic actually changed a lot of dimensions. I mean, this is something that I think like we all agree, even we are working in a flat structure or a hierarchical structure. COVID pandemic changed a lot of dimensions. So even if we were working in a hierarchy, like we were able to create a structure where agility was coming in from different levels. So yeah, so in that, that way, like I completely agree with you, Yash, that agility was built at different levels, and COVID pandemic was the catalyst to it. Yeah. However, speaking in terms of organizations, agility is something that is built in the DNA of the organization. And I can give you a couple of examples also of the companies which did not change and they failed. So for instance, like if you think about this company called Kodak, how many of you remember Kodak Films? I mean, it's an international company, and like they used to make those real cameras before the digital cameras took over. I mean, people who are slightly older. You remember, right? So, I mean, at one point of time, like Kodak was the leading global producer of photographic equipment, of cameras, of reels. And like they were just leading the market, and like there was nobody close to them. However, what happened was they could not adjust themselves to change, because like there was a certain level of hierarchy out there, and the top management did not feel that it is necessary to adapt to change. So, however, there are some other examples as well, wherein there were companies which have a hierarchical structure. Okay, okay, yeah. However, yeah, the same happened with Nokia as well. Same happened with Nokia as well. I mean, the Nokia N series was amazing. I mean, these guys were ruling the market. I mean, this, and they had, like in India, especially, like they had the complete control over the market. But they were not able to adapt to change, because I mean the top management at some places did not feel that it is necessary for them to make that change. So however, like there is another side of the story also, as COVID, as Yash had mentioned, that during the pandemic, and even like before the pandemic also, the top leadership was very open to change. When top leadership is very open to change, they kind of push the changes down the line. General Electric company, that is one company which is very open to change, and the top management pushes the changes down. The governments in some of the companies, for instance, Dubai government is very open to change, and they have been able to completely transform the country of Dubai, right? Like the sheikh out there, like the leader of Dubai, like he is like a visionary guy. So even though like there is a hierarchic structure in the government, but they have been able to implement change because the leader is very agile. So agility can be built in the organization, both in hierarchy and in a flat structured organization. My apologies if the slide is misleading, but the fact is that in a hierarchy, the agility is built top down. In a flat structure, like agility is kind of built in the DNA at every level. And that is what we're trying to achieve here. We're not trying to kind of, change the structure of the organization. If you're working in a hierarchical organization, we're not trying to make it a flat structured. Or if you're working in a flat structured organization, we're not trying to make it a hierarchical organization. However, like what we're trying to do here is that we're trying to see that wherever we are in, whichever situation we are in, how we can adopt a few tactics, how we can adopt a few best practices wherein we can make our processes more agile, more flexible. So does that make sense? Let me try turning on my video as well. Yeah, does that make sense? Okay, so I believe we'll move forward from here. Okay, so now let us discuss that what are the benefits of being agile. I mean, if we are agile, if we are an agile company, whether we are in a hierarchical structure or we are in a matrix kind of a structure, what are the benefits of being agile? I'll quickly take a look at the chat window as well. Faster implementation, of course. I mean, we can implement the changes at a very fast pace.
Well,
what do you think of?
Yes, the visibility.
Of course,
visibility.
Right. Visibility.
Increase the business value, increase customer satisfaction, and increase product quality. These are a few.
Right. Business satisfaction, product value, customer satisfaction. So agility brings in itself, like when we are an agile organization, it brings in itself like so many different values. And thank you very much for mentioning those values out here. So those are the benefits of agility out here. I'll quickly take a look at the chat window as well. Yeah, we can embrace change with ease, right? If the organization is agile, if that agility is built in the culture of the organization, then we become more accepting to the change, and we become more resilient. We become more adaptable to change. So those are the benefits of being an agile organization. Yeah, so these are some of the, we have summarized some of the benefits here. So aiming for the big goal, I mean, we can face many knowns, I mean, without putting a plan. So basically, if the organization is agile, then we can actually handle changes more effectively. Even if there is a big change, the agile organizations, they were able to sail through the COVID pandemic. The organizations which were very rigid, like they cracked, and they collapsed because they were very rigid. They did not have enough agility. Close to the customer, like as we mentioned, like the customer focus becomes better if we are more agile. Our energy, our enthusiasm, our motivation, our sense of belonging, everything becomes better. We start implementing the things faster, and we start seeing faster results.
The word itself, agile, mean you move, you adapt.
Exactly. Agile is like, you adapt, you move, you're more flexible, you're more nimble, right? So a company which is more nimble, like, is less susceptible to break. A company which is more rigid, like, which is more, not ready to change, those, break under the pressure. So that is something that, like, we keep in mind when we talk about agility. Yeah, of course, improve the overall user experience and boost customer retention, of course. And that is also like one of the important outcomes of agility, that we improve the user experience and we boost the customer retention. So the customer focus increases considerably when we are an agile company, and there is actually research data to support that as well. So thank you very much for making those points. Let us move forward. Okay, so what are the challenges in being agile? Let's say, like, my organization, I want to be agile, but my organization is not able to become agile. So what are the challenges what are the challenges that I face as an organization to become agile? What are the bottlenecks? What are the roadblocks? Can we think about that for a moment?
Like, people think everything is easy, they get too friendly, they don't take things seriously to some extent.
Absolutely. People get into their comfort zones.
Yes.
So when people get into their comfort zones, they become comfortable in whatever they are doing. I don't want to move out of this, I'm so comfortable out here. I am enjoying last. So,
yes.
And I don't want to move forward because, like, the change is going to push me to, do things that I don't want to do. I'm comfortable in whatever I'm doing. The business is going on as usual, so it is all right. So yeah, so that is one of the challenges, that we get stuck in a comfort zone. So thank you very much, Rajwanti, for making that point. Can we get some other views as well? What are the challenges in being agile as an organization? Like, what are the bottlenecks?
Resistance to change.
Of course, resistance to change. Like, we don't want to change because we are already, we are like, we are already comfortable in whatever we are doing. Then why should we go in for new changes? Why should we go in for change? Yeah. So, like, there is this mental block in our mind that change might disrupt our regular ways of life. Change might not be for good. So, like, we discussed, like, about the change, like, when we were beginning this session, like, we discussed about different perceptions of change. So change has got two sides of it. So the other side of the change, like, which is the negative side of the change, puts a fear inside us that, like, I'm afraid. Oh my God, what is going to happen if I implement that change? And then, like I said, okay, I'll not take that risk of trying out something new, making that change. And I would rather, although, like, it's all right, not like, adverse to change, but why take that risk? Why take that chance? Yeah. So thank you very much for making that point as well.
I'd like to add.
Yes.
Sorry, Ala, go ahead. Darling, okay. Sorry, go.
I just want to say that probably another challenge, if on the part of the employees, especially if the organization is a fast-paced one, meaning it takes many projects. Basically, the employees can be overworked. So the efficiency, the effectiveness of the employee can be affected in an agile environment.
Exactly. And that is actually a very important point, because, like, whenever we are going through a change, so change requires a lot of hard work. Change requires, like, it puts in a lot of pressure to face unknown and uncertain situations. And people definitely get overworked working through that change. And this has happened in India, like, like the government has implemented new measures. So like, like India has digitized at a very fast pace. And in the process of adapting to the digital technology, especially in some of the rural areas, in some of the underserved areas, remote areas, it was a challenging thing for the people out there. However, like once that change was implemented, people became comfortable using digital technology. I mean, things are working very easily for them. So yeah, so that is that initial hitch, that is initial challenge, that people get overworked, people get tired. I mean, it's like, there's a lot of hard work in implementing change because the outcome is unknown. Yeah, if the outcome is known, maybe like the things are going to be a little better. But if the outcome is unknown, basically like the change puts in a lot of additional work hours to a regular working schedule. Okay, so I'll take a look at the chat window as well. And we have some very interesting comments out here. Okay, so lack of unity of command being in a flat structure. Okay, of course. There is a lack of unity in command because sometimes in a flat structure, like the flip side of the flat structure is that it's a medley. Like sometimes like it becomes a mess because everyone is voicing their opinions, everyone is making a suggestions, but there is not like a commanding authority out there which can actually take all those opinions and take a proper solid decision. This happens very often because since like there is not like a very clear line of command, so people are not ready to accept other people's ideas. I mean, this is sometimes that happens in my consulting also. Like I have seen matrix organizations, I've seen flat organizations where everyone is coming up with great ideas, but it's like there is no unity of the ideas, there is no harmony in the ideas, there is no integration of the ideas. I mean, this happens, and thank you very much, Audrey, for making that point. That's actually a very relevant and a very practical point in a flat structured organization as well. Okay, it costs the organization for the resources to, of course. Thank you, Arla, for mentioning that. There is the cost component also. It actually hurts our pockets. Yeah, when we are trying to implement a new change, when we are trying to be agile. Yeah, and we don't want to hurt our pockets. Change, yeah, there's a changing requirement. It is not easy to measure the milestones. Of course. Thank you, Audrey, again for mentioning that milestones. So it is very important for us as an organization to track the progress of whatever we are doing. If you're not tracking a progress effectively, if you're not tracking our results effectively, then planning the future becomes very difficult. So it is very important that we need to have very clear-cut measures in place so that we understand that what are going to be our milestones. And in an unpredictable situation, it becomes very difficult for us to predict what the milestones are going to be, what our clear goals are going to be. So thank you very much for mentioning that. That's actually a very important point, that in an agile organization, sometimes this problem comes in building that agility, that how we are going to face the uncertainty. Yeah, so that is like one of the challenges in building an agile organization. Yeah, so frequent regression cycles, of course. Yeah, there is, I mean, by regression, I believe like we mean attrition, like turnover. I mean, people leave the organization. Abdul Rahman, if my understanding is correct. Yeah, so yeah, usually like people, they're not able to accommodate to change and they leave the organization and go. So when they leave the organization, then again, like it creates another kind of a trouble for the organization, because you have to get in new people, you have to train them from the scratch, and there is another effort. And as Darlene said, that people get overworked. Yeah, there will be a consistent process and practices across the teams. Of course, there is a lack of consistency. Yeah, so whenever like there is a lack of consistency, the processes break. So, and that is why sometimes hierarchical structures are preferred to build that level of consistency, to build those processes where everyone can adhere to. And there is like a chain of command which can make sure that the processes are being adhered to. So yeah, so that is also like a very good point. No quality measurement. Again, like we spoke about the measures, we spoke about the KPIs. So like there are no specific KPIs out here. Lack of team ownership, team resistance, lack of measurement. Of course, yeah. So basically, there is an issue of ownership. There is an issue of measuring the success. There are fundamental changes in the ways people do their jobs every day. So when everything is changing at a very rapid fire pace, then it creates a confusion in the organization as well. So those are the challenges, some of the challenges that come when we are trying to make organization more agile, because and that is what creates that sense of fear, that sense of not moving forward to build an agile organization. So thank you very much for mentioning those points. And we have yeah, and we have
Arvind?
compiled some of these. Yes.
Sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to request for a 10-minute break. Post that we can resume with the discussion.
You can take a 10-minute break. We can take a 10-minute break, and a break is always welcome. A break is always welcome. So yeah, so we'll take a break out here, and then we'll come back after 10 minutes and we'll resume this very interesting discussion that is going on. So thank you very much for being very participative, and we'll meet after 10 minutes.
Welcome back, Abdul.
Okay, welcome back everyone. I hope you had a good break. Yeah, I had my cup of tea, so which feels refreshing. Yeah, and I hope my audio is coming in properly. Can I be heard?
Yes, Arvind, perfectly fine.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so like we were discussing like the benefits and the challenges of agility, like we kind of build a foundation for today's session. And now, like in the next hour or so, like we are going to discuss that how we can develop agility within our organization and ourselves. So what we're going to do is that we're going to do a little assessment, and then we'll be taking a look at a few tools and a few frameworks which will be helpful for us when we work in leadership roles to develop agility for ourselves as well as for our teams in our organizations. So I believe most of us are in leadership roles here. So how many of you are in a leadership role, like you're managing a team or you're managing an organization? You can give me a thumbs up. How many of you are in a leadership role? Okay, thank you, Denise. Thank you, Darlene. Okay, so I believe like, yeah, thank you, Arla. Yeah, I believe like most of us here like are managing a team in one way or the other, or are part of a good team. Thank you, Lam. Yeah, so I'm sure like, we can, learn from these frameworks, and we can apply some of these best practices in our team as well. So developing agility. So when we say how we can develop agility, so there are two factors. One is ourselves, that we have to have an agile mindset. If we have an agile mindset, if we are open to change, if we are open to flexibility, we will be able to push and nurture our teams towards being agile. If we ourselves have a rigid mindset, we are not adaptable to change, or like we don't want the change to happen, then it becomes, as a leader, it becomes very difficult for us to implement that change in the organization. So what we're going to do is that we're going to do a little bit of an assessment of our own agility skills. So I'm going to give you 8 questions. So you have to rate yourself from 1 to 4 on that. So there are 4 options. You have to select one option. So I'm going to give you 8 questions. So if you have a pen and a paper, please keep that ready. And then you just have to mark yourself one, like, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, whatever option suits you the best. So the questions are coming up, and we'll take another 5 minutes to complete this psychometric. And then we'll do a small discussion around that, how agile you are. So like we have got these 3 questions here. The next slide has another 3 questions. The last slide has got 2 questions. So there are 8 questions in all. So every question has got 4 options. They're in front of you. So you have to, every row, like there are 4 options, you have to select one option which suits you the best. Yeah, please don't select more than one option, just select one option out of the 4 options that are presented to you. And give me a thumbs up when you are done. And take your time on that. I mean, we are in no rush. Let me know once you are done. Yeah, and please take your time. Okay, thank you, Denise. Thank you, Yash. So, thank you, Darlene.
Just
Okay,
a
so
few
let's
minutes. The last one. I'm on the last one. Just a few
yeah,
minutes.
sure. Take your time, take your time, take your time. Like we'll take another couple of minutes and then we'll move on to the second page.
Okay, done.
You done? Done? Great, amazing, amazing. So I'm going to move on to the second page. So these are fourth, fifth, and sixth questions of the psychometric of this assessment.
Ar- Arvind?
Yes.
Yeah, so the participants can also refer to this assessment on page number 72 of the handbook.
Oh, okay.
So in case they have trouble, catching on the slide, they can just refer to the handbook.
Of course, of course, of course. Yeah. So page number 72 of the handbook, like this assessment is there. So in case like you feel more comfortable opening your handbook.
Thank you, Tanvi.
We're done?
What page is it again on the handbook, please?
Page number 72.
71, 71 and 72.
Thank you.
71 and 72. Okay.
What do you spend time on? How much more to focus on possibility? You have time to God.
Okay, are we done with this? With this page?
No, 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 no.
Oh, okay, okay. Take your time, take your time. Yeah, we are in no hurry. Is this done?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So we'll take another 30 seconds and then we'll move on to the next slide.
No, in the handbook, there is 2 more questions.
Oh yeah, there are 2 more questions, of course, of course, of course. There are 2 more questions. I mean, there are 2 more questions here as well. I mean, I was just saying that, we move from this slide and we come to the other. So these are the last 2 questions. So if you can rate yourself in these 2 questions as well. Let me know when you're done with this. And these are all the questions here, the 8 questions in total.
Okay, done.
Done? Okay, okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now what we can do is that we can add up all our scores. Let's say like we gave ourselves a 1 on the first question, 2 on the second question, 3 on the third question, 4 on the fourth question. We can add all of those scores up and let's see what do we have here.
Okay.
Yeah, let's add up the score from all the 8 questions and let's see how much we scored. And there are no right or wrong answers here. All of them are just perceptions. There is no judging out here. I mean, these assessments are only for self-improvement and self-introspection. Okay, let's take another minute. And then once we are done calculating the scores, then we'll start seeing that, you know, what do these scores represent. Okay, so we'll take 30 more seconds. And then we'll start seeing that what do these scores represent. Okay. Okay. So thank you very much for taking the psychometric assessment. And I see that some of you have posted your scores out here. So did anybody get a 32? That is the highest score, 32. So the 32 is the highest score here that one can get. And 8 being the lowest. So yeah, so the debrief goes like this. So if you have a 32, you are extremely agile. You are very, very, very agile. Yeah, your team is very, very, very agile. Yeah, so you're very agile as a person, as a leader, you're very agile. If you have anything close to like, you know, something between like, you know, 25 to 30, that means again, like, you know, you're very, very agile, although like there is definitely a little room for improvement, but you're very agile. You are in a very good zone. If you have a score that is like between 8 to 15 per se, that means like, you know, there is some amount of work that is needed. You know, there is, or some, I would say like significant amount of work that is needed, because if you have a score of 8, that means like you're comparatively rigid in taking decisions, like that agility factor is still not there. So yeah, so if you have a score of 8, I'm sure like nobody has a score of 8, but if like somebody has a score of 8, that means like they have to do a lot of work. If you have something around 16, that means like you are there in the midway, and you will do a good job when it comes to managing agility. But still, I mean, there is definitely a lot of room to improve. So we can still keep working on tactics. We can keep working on best practices, how we can improve our agility, our mindset as an agile person. At the same time, like how we can start bringing in more adaptability, more resilience in the organization. So yeah, so thank you very much for taking that. And I see like most of you have got great scores out here. All of you are already very agile. So you know exactly what needs to be done in an adverse situation, how to adapt, how to adopt, and how to improve and how to progress even in adverse situation. Yeah, so thank you very much for taking that psychometric assessment. And now like we have got these 4 aspects of being the more agile thing. So like there are 4 things that we have to consider when we talk about agility. The first being the context, the second being the stakeholder, third being creative, and fourth being the leadership. So the context here is a leader's willingness to ability. So if you want to build an agile team, then we have to set the context right. As a leader, as a manager, we have to set the context right, and we have to bring in a more strategic and a visionary aspect to our team rather than just incremental changes. So the first thing here is, if you want to build an agile organization, it starts from us. Like we have to build agility in our mindset. Once we have been able to build agility in our mindset, we start building agility in our team. And this is the tool that we have in front of us, which can help us build that agility into our team. The first thing that we have to set a context right as a leader. So we have to have a vision for our team. We have to set a goal, a direction, very clear set of objectives for a team. And those objectives have to be strategic. They cannot be just incremental. I mean, we just can't, keep moving the things the way they are. We need to embrace change. Yeah. So we set the context right. And then we have to manage our stakeholders, and we have to create alignment. So in our daily lives also, in our line of works, we work every day with internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. How many of you agree with me that we work with both internal and external stakeholders? Or like, do we have some amongst us like who work only with internal stakeholders, or some who only work with external stakeholders? Okay. So I believe that all of us, like we work with both internal and external stakeholders. So we have to create an alignment. As a leader, we need to create that alignment so that we are able to work smoothly with them. The third aspect is that we have to bring in creativity. We have to bring in, an out of the box thinking approach in doing things if we want to be agile. So we set the context, we work with the stakeholders, we bring creativity, and then like we work on our self-leadership skills as well. We open ourselves for feedback, and we improve our behaviors, we improve our working styles, and we seek continuous improvisation. So if we are able to bring in these 4 factors in place, I mean, that is definitely going to mean that we have taken a step in our journey to become a more agile leader. Do you agree with me, or like is there a conflict? I mean, if you have a question out here, I will give you a moment to take a look at this slide, and then you can let me know if you have any question or if you have any comments out here. If it is okay, we can move further. I'll give you a moment to go through this, and then we can move further. Okay, so I believe like this is quite self-explanatory. So I'll move further. Okay, and like we have got these levels of agility. These have 4 levels of agility. So so the first level of agility is being a co-creator. So even though like we don't have a very agile mindset ourselves, but what we do is, so these are the 4 levels of agility, like the first being co-creator, the second being a catalyst, the third being a driver, and fourth being an expert. Expert like is the highest level of agility that we can go. All right. The lower level is being a co-creator when we take an agile approach. So what comes to your mind when I say co-creator? I mean, in terms of agility, what comes to your mind? Like somebody says co-creator in terms of agility in bringing in agile organization, what comes to your mind? But just by looking at the word co-creator.
I can try.
Yes, of course, please.
It can also mean somebody who is innovative.
Exactly. So this guy is innovative. And in addition to being innovative, a co-creator is also using the creativity of others. So even though I am not able to innovate myself, I am open to seeking ideas from others and implementing them in my organization. So wherever it needed, I'm going to seek help. And I'm going to build agility in my organization. So this guy basically, when we say co-creator, this guy is more like a newbie, like who does not have a lot of experience in creating an agile environment on his own. However, like this guy is very impressed with the idea of agility, and he is open to seek help from outside in order to build more agility into the system. Okay, yeah, of course, like this guy promotes collaboration. Collaboration is again the key here. Thank you very much, Darlene, for making that point. And of course, co-ownership. Like this guy will also go and take co-ownership. Thank you very much, Erla, for mentioning that point as well. Catalyst. So when I say catalyst, what comes to your mind? Catalyst.
Okay.
Catalyst. What comes to your mind when I say catalyst?
Catalyst is something that, like an enzyme need a catalyst, like it's something that help to achieve something, to get something else. Exactly. Like without this, it cannot, you need a catalyst to digest the food.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for making that point. You need a catalyst to digest your food. So like you require a catalyst to speed up a reaction. So this guy who is the catalyst, he actually speeds up the process of building agility in the organization. Although he or she might not be making the contribution himself or herself, but he or she is definitely acting as a catalyst. I mean, they're actually pushing the systems to implement the change more quickly. And that is the second level of agility. The first level is being a co-creator. You are feeding on someone else's idea. I mean, you're taking someone else's idea. I mean, feeding is the wrong word. I apologize for that. You are taking someone else's idea and you are implementing in the team, and you are implementing it well. You are taking feedback and you are continuously improvising. That is being co-creator. Then there is another guy who is a catalyst. So this person, the catalyst, is using his or her strength to speed up the implementation process, to speed up the agile implementation process in the organization. Then the third is the driver. What comes to your mind when I say the driver? So this is the third level of being an agile manager, driver.
I think driver is taking the lead.
Exactly. So this guy takes the leadership. He drives the initiatives. He pushes his team. He takes a collaborative approach. I mean, he or she takes a collaborative approach to build the right kind of an agile environment that is required in the team. So that is a driver. And then the fourth level is an expert. So who is an expert?
I think it's someone who reacts to any situation.
Exactly, exactly. So an expert is a veteran. So he or she knows that how to build agility in the organization. They are very open. They have their own competencies, like they have their own ideas, and they are willing to accommodate the ideas of the other people as well. And they bring that level of finesse in the organization. So whenever the organization has to go through a radical transformation, so what happens is the board will change the top management. They'll bring in new CEOs, they will bring in new CFOs, like who are going to completely turn around the organization, and they'll radically transform the organization. They are going to make the organization more stable, more agile, more susceptible to change. So there's going to be some kind of re-engineering that is taking place. And these guys are those re-engineers, the experts. Yeah, so we have these 4 levels of agility and we grow from one level to the other. The first is a co-creator, when I am open to taking ideas from other people and implementing them in my team. I become a little more experienced, I become a catalyst, and I start pushing the change for the implementation. Then then I become a little more experienced, I become a driver, I start taking initiatives and I drive everything around with me. And finally, like, I become a veteran, I become a pro, I become an expert in building agility in my organization and transforming my team and my organization for good. Change for good. I am an expert, I am driving that. So those are the 4 levels of agility. So, and that is something that we have to analyze, that at which level we are. So we might be a co-creator, we might be a catalyst, we might be a driver, we might be an expert. Our objective is, yes, you want to say something?
Yeah, sorry, sir. Just when very often where we find ourselves in the driver's seat, we tend to, as if, set our foot down. Okay, this has to be done.
Yes.
Very often, it does not create that agility, because as a driver, we have to make things happen.
Yes.
And very often we find ourselves not in a collaborative mode.
Yes.
It's more authoritative. It's more as if a bossy type. But coming to agility, how come a driver can be agile? So it's very I think very difficult at times.
Yes, what you said is absolutely right, and that's actually a very interesting observation, that whenever we are in a driver's seat, like, we want to get the things done. So here's my take on that, and I hope that you might agree with me here as well. So basically, like, whenever we are in a management role, we have to wear many hats at the same time. So Yash, according to you, like, what is the difference between a manager and a leader?
Okay, a leader normally has followers. A manager, it has with whatever resources he has at hand, he has to make things happen. Okay.
Right.
A leader is more participative in approach.
Yes, absolutely. So basically, a manager is more task oriented. We have to get the things done. Yeah, and we have to work with the available resources, and we have to work with available constraints.
Oui. Moi pour faire cabinet paper là. Moi pour faire cabinet. Yes. And
okay. Okay. So I think, like, somebody was on the phone. Okay. So what I was saying was that managers are more task oriented. They need to get the work done, wherein the leaders are more purpose oriented. So in management roles, like, we have to wear many hats at the same time. Like, we have to be leaders, we have to be the manager, we have to be coaches, as well as we have to be the mentors, right? We have to be friends, and we have to be the supervisors. Yeah, and that becomes a challenge. So at points when we are stuck. I mean, we have to get the things done. That is, I mean, the task orientation is definitely there. Like we have to get the things done. Our role of a manager is to be a driver. But at the same time, like whenever we are getting over managerial, like we have to take a step back and we have to see that as a leader, what kind of a purpose we are driving out here. So we take on that we take off that hat of a manager and we wear the hat of a leader. And we start thinking that as a leader, how am I going to inspire my people? How am I going to engage my people? How am I going to push my people to move forward? So we have this task orientation and we have this people orientation. We have to build that balance. Yeah, and that kind of, that comes with the experience and that comes with the the right kind of work environment, but definitely that can be done. And that is being done in many organizations wherein we are developing that fine balance. Like the classic managers, like who are very successful, they're able to develop this right balance between being a leader and being a manager, being task oriented and being people oriented. So I hope it helps. Yash, does that answer your question? Okay.
Yeah,
So
thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much for that. Yeah. Okay. So let us move forward. Okay. So these are like some of the suggestions that we wanted to give you. If you want to build your agility, then and if we think that we are stuck in a situation, as Yash you mentioned, that if we are stuck in a situation wherein we are not able to build agility into the organization, sometimes like we have to pause for a moment. Like we pause for a moment. Then like we start reframing the questions again, like we take a deep breath, we pause, we stop whatever we are doing, we take a deep breath, we embrace ignorance. I mean, if there is something that we don't know, we're not afraid of the unknown. Like we kind of remove the fear of the unknown and we start setting the direction for ourselves. We test ourselves. Basically what we do in product development is that whenever we are coming up with a new product, we are going to create a prototype first. And we take the prototype to the market and we test that prototype in the market before we push that prototype into production. Similarly, when we are enhancing our leadership skills, we have to test them out, that the new approaches that I want to adopt, is it working with my people or not? If it is working with the people, I kind of make it a best practice. If it is not working with the people, I again take a step back and I see that what is going wrong. So that is how we build agility, because agility is not a linear process. Building agility is not a linear process. It's an iterative process. So I hope that makes sense. I mean, we have the linear process like 1, 2, 3 and done. So agility is not a linear process. Agility is always iterative. So it's 1, 2, 3. If it is not done from 3, we go back again to 2. And we see.
It's like revisiting yourself.
Exactly.
Revisiting yourself. Revisiting your strategy.
Exactly, Babita. We are revisiting ourselves over and over again. And we see that, how we can improve, how we can change our leadership styles to be better. Yeah. And for that, like we take help from many things, like we go through trainings like this, we read a lot of books, we talk to many interesting people and we start getting insights. So when we are like, we have a broad perspective, we open our minds to new things, new changes, we become agile. And once we become agile, we start pushing in that culture of agility in the organization as well. We start inspiring our people as well. So that so if you want to call that a secret formula of building agility, so that is the formula. And there is no other formula that I'm aware of to build agility in the organization. Yeah. So those are there. And then, this is ourselves, like we have to build agility in ourselves. And once we build this agility, then we start pushing this agility in our team as well. We start inspiring our people to become more agile. We start inspiring our people to be more nimble, more flexible, thinking out of the box. We encourage them to come up with new ideas. And we as managers, we as leaders become more receptive to their ideas. In case like we are individual contributories, I mean, we are not in a managerial or a leadership role, we start working with the managers and we start giving them our more ideas, like we develop like a strong working relationship with our superiors. And once we do that, once like we set the communications right, the things become so much better. Okay, so moving forward. Okay, so there is another question out here. Tanvi, is this psychometric also in the book, in the workbook? If you can take a look.
Yes, let me just check the page number. It must be there. Yeah. 1 second.
I don't think it is in the.
Okay. If it is not in the book, then it is here on the
I am
slide.
not seeing it in the book. It's
No,
not.
Muthu, I can't see it in the book.
Okay,
not in
okay.
the
Okay.
book.
And here it is on the slide. I mean,
Our
here on the slide.
participants know better. Yes, it's not. It's not.
Okay, okay. So let us try to answer this question. Like, if we are in a leadership position, or like even if you are working in a team, like what is the opinion that we have about a team? Like, there are a few questions out here. So just see. I mean, this is like there is no evaluation on that. I mean, this is just for self-introspection. Your team has a relentless focus on customer, and you're seeking to add value to the customer through your products, processes, and organization.
So what is the
where-
question?
Yeah, so the question here is that what statement is true about your team? So think about your team that you're working in.
Okay.
Actually,
then-
Evan, it's about when. So how many times does this statement state true? I'm sorry, I just wanted to, because
Absolutely,
it's about,
Thank you, Tanvi.
absolutely.
Thank you, Tanvi.
yeah.
Yeah. And let me know once you are done with this. We'll move to the next page. Okay, so I believe like most of us have done this. I'm getting the responses here on chat. So I will move on to the next slide. Okay. Can we take a look at this one? Okay, okay, so I believe this is done as well. We'll move forward. Okay. So these are the next 2 questions. Please take a look at them. Okay, so let's take another 30 seconds to a minute and get this done as well. Let's move forward.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely, absolutely.
6, question 6.
Yes.
The team knows who is the expert on a given issue and relies on them to make decisions rather than someone higher up outside the team. But unfortunately, in government service, decision is taken at higher level. Despite you have a team, it can be that in the team, the task itself, okay, there is no problem. But the decision, the ultimate decision of the task being done is going to be taken at higher level.
Right. Yeah, and that's like a protocol that we have to follow in the government. I mean, that is something that, I mean, we cannot override.
Yes, we cannot do away.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot override that. Yeah, so it's just that like the point of this question here is, I mean, the point of this question here is that how bonded the team is. So if team has a problem, I mean, they don't have to go all the way higher up, like they can fix the problem amongst themselves.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah. So that was the purpose of the question here. But yeah,
okay,
I can completely understand. Yeah, but I can completely understand the government case here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yash, do you have a question?
I just wanted to add to what Babita was saying. Okay, we have a hierarchy, but at times, depending upon the technical input, because at times, for instance, in my ministry, we have planners. So we rely on these people to give us the technical input. We do understand that decision is taken at one level, but it is based on these expert advice.
Exactly. And thank you very much, Yash, for making that point. Because the feedback, like the flow of feedback is not necessarily from the top to the bottom. It can go from down to up as well. The feedback flows both the ways. And this in strong organizations, in agile organizations, there is openness from feedback to go from one direction to the other direction. Like from a down, it is going up, from the up, it is going down. If there is a restriction on the flow of feedback, then that organization becomes rigid. In an agile organization, the feedback is always so yeah, so thank you very much, Yash, for making that point that we have to take inputs from these people. The feedback definitely goes from them. Okay, so we are done with this. Then we have got 2 more questions. If you can take a look. Question number 7 and 8. Let me know when you're done with this. and let me know when you're done. You can just give me a thumbs up, or you can write it on the chat that you are done with this. Two very simple questions. Your team members expect and welcome constant change. They adapt. What they are doing to this change, sometimes abandoning solutions and moving forwards to alternate quickly. Okay, so I think like we're done with this question. We'll take another 30 seconds and then we'll move on. Okay, so I believe all of us are done with this one as well. We'll move on now. And these are the last two questions. Yeah, these are the last two questions. Your team members are open to feedback and give both positive and negative feedback to each other and to the team leader. The team leader sees themselves as a service leader, removing obstacles, coaching, and providing feedback rather than delegating and making decisions. Let me know once you're done with this.
Excuse me. Next question. The team's leader. You mean the team we are evaluating, or those above us? The team's leader sees themselves as a service provider leader. Is it among the team themselves, the team leader, or our bosses above our head?
Among like the immediate supervisor. The immediate supervisor, like among the team, like whoever is the leader, like for instance, like whoever the team is reporting to, like for instance, like if you have a team immediately below you, like let's say
what I wanted to clarify is that we have a team, we are a member of the team, despite that we are the team leader, we are a member of the team, but we have to report to someone upstairs.
Yes. So like if you have to report to somebody upstairs, like so he or she becomes the team leader. Like we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Let's take another 30 seconds and then we'll move on to the debrief slide. Okay, so I believe like all of us are done with this psychometric as well. So again, yeah. So I mean, there are no right or wrong questions out here, and this is just a self-evaluation thing, a team evaluation thing, so that we get an idea about where we are as an agile team. So in case like you have a score more than 50, I mean, you cannot get a score more than 50. I mean, if you have a score close to 50, that means like your team is very agile. If you have a score closer to 10, that means your team needs to work more on the agility side. If you're somewhere in between, that means you're relatively all right. You can work further for that. So yeah, so basically, so those are like some of the factors that we need. I mean, I just wanted you to take a moment and read those questions, and that's why like I asked you to go for these questions, like two at a time, so that like we absorb the content that has been provided in these questions, so that we understand that what are the different aspects of building agility in a team from an organizational point of view. In the earlier assessment, in the earlier psychometric, we looked at ourselves, we looked at our own behaviors. In this assignment, in this assessment, like we looked at our team behaviors. So if we want to build this culture of agility in the organization, we have to build both the aspects. We have to build an agile mindset ourselves. At the same time, like we have to build that culture of agility in a team as well. So, and then like we come to a final slide. If we want to create agility, then like these are some suggestions that we want to make to you. We have to focus on the customer. In the case of government, we have to focus on the people, right? In case like we are a non-profit organization, we focus on the beneficiaries out here, the people that we are working on. We focus on our stakeholders. We need to have a clear vision, a clear set of direction. We need to have clarity around our goals, our objectives. We need to have a very clear strategy. We should know what to do, what not to do. There should be a bias for action. We should be able to implement our plans rather than just keep planning. Implementation is very important, and that's why there should be a bias for action. Because until like we do action, we'll not be able to know whether the change is good or change is bad. We should be open to feedback, because unless and until like we are open to feedback, we'll not be able to implement change effectively. Because as we had suggested, like as we had discussed in the beginning of this presentation, change is for good also, change is for bad as well. And of course, collaboration, like we have to collaborate, and this came down many times during our discussion as well. We have to embrace change. We have to empower ourselves, and we have to empower our teams. We have to be interactive. The communication between the team has to be very crisp. So the crisper the communication is, the more we communicate, the more we talk to each other, the more we understand each other, and more agility we start creating. It is quite possible that one of us has the solution, but because of under communication, the solution does not come out for the team. So it's very important as team leaders, we facilitate that communication in our team as well. As team members, we take a lead and we facilitate that communication between the team as well. The more we talk, the better we understand each other. And then of course, as a leader, we need to be a service leader. We need to be available for our people out there and help them in all kind of situations, and manage them, lead them, mentor them, coach them, and make sure that we are building this wonderful and amazing culture of agility in our organization. And with that being said, I would like to close the session today. It was wonderful interacting with you. And we're going to meet again tomorrow. And we're going to do this another amazing session on innovation. And I look forward for that. And thank you very much again for being an amazing audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Arvind, for taking our participants through one of the biggest essentials of a high-performing team, which is agility. And you will be taking them through another element of a high-performing team and ending this workshop with the bank, talking about creating innovation in a team. So before we leave, participants, I have a few set of instructions. So I'll just request you to stay back for 2 more minutes. Number one, I would like to take one more screenshot. I am sorry, because people who have not been captured, I am going to try once again so that they are back in the photo. Yeah, Babita, you were not there in the morning, so you are left as well. I'm glad people who were there come back on the camera so fast. I am happy. You encourage other people to come in as well. Abdul, Farida, Ainur, Ilham, Munira.
Denise, do I need to have some lipstick?
You already have it on, so you're good.
You look good, Babita. No worries.
Yes, very nice.
Mariel,
You all look very nice.
So good to see your face.
So what are the other instructions we have?
Yes. So I'm just first going to click a picture. 1 second. I think Mariel, you closed your camera. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 minute, please. Yes. Okay. Ilham, hi. Okay.
Done for me?
3, 2, 1. Done. Oh, more people. Okay. So I have taken the screenshot. Thank you. You can get back as comfortable as you can be. So tomorrow we have the valedictory for the 10-day workshop on taking your team from good to great. So we will be starting our day as usual with a session by Arvind on creating innovation in a team. But post that, we are going to have, one session is on valedictory for sure post 2 o'clock. But before that, we'll be having a few team building activities. So it is going to be a lighter day tomorrow. We are not going to have all lessons, nothing like that. Secondly, we are going to have the whole day tomorrow on Bharat VC platform because it's the valedictory session. So since the morning, we are going to have it on Bharat VC, and the link will remain the same as before. I'll be sharing it again on the WhatsApp group. Priyanka from my project team will be sharing on your emails, and we will be connecting there. Third thing is that all of you are requested to be on cameras as much as possible, because what happens is some of you are not able to join on Bharat VC and are joining on Zoom. So we are telecasting the Bharat VC session on Zoom as well. So you will be able to hear whatever is happening there, but you will not be able to interact with us. We at Bharat VC will not be able to hear you. But in between, I will be reading the chats from Zoom. This is just in case you are not able to join. So hopefully all of you are able to join the valedictory, right? I think that's it. I'll be just sharing the feedback for today, and then we can close. I'll be sharing that in your WhatsApp group as well. That's all. We meet once again tomorrow.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you guys tomorrow.
See you
Okay,
tomorrow.
see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.